Chapter 1937. Bang! A loud sound rang out amid the blood sand filling the air. The demonic blood thousand-winged snake had destroyed Qi Yunfeng's precious war chariot. Xiaochen did not know if Qi Yunfeng was still in there. If he was, he probably would not have escaped death. Even if he managed to survive, he would probably feel heartache. A one-star heaven-suspending war chariot was already worth more than 100,000 primeval heavenly pills. Furthermore, it was hard to buy. Now that it was destroyed, it truly hurt. Murong Yen lay on a boulder, which rose and fell amid the blood sand filling the air. Did they all run away? Murong Yen sneaked a look around, but his vision was blurry. When he did his best to look, he could not see anyone. This seems like an opportunity. A brilliant light flashed in Murong Yan's eyes as he revealed a smile. This demonic blood thousand-winged snake looked like it was showing off its ferocious might, but in reality, it was aggravating his injuries. If everyone had already fled, then he might be able to obtain all the value of this demonic blood thousand-winged snake. Murong Yen chewed on the rank 3 heavenly pill that Lu Ruyun gave him, and his injuries healed quickly. Those people cannot block this great desolate Ian demonic might. I have a divine dragon bloodline and actually hold a significant advantage. The martial techniques of the red dragon race can be said to be the most ferocious of the 6-colored divine dragons. I can take a gamble. The battle flame in Murong Yan's eyes blazed increasingly fiercely as he stared at the demonic blood thousand-winged snake. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Murong Yen carefully leaped around the boulders, seeking a suitable opportunity for himself. I have to wait patiently. Despite his blazing battle hunger, Murong Yen still cautiously advised himself. Finally, the opportunity arrived. The demonic blood thousand-winged snake landed at an extremely suitable spot for Murong Yen to attack. Its already irrepressible battle hunger erupted like a volcano. Blood-devouring dragon fist, boundless madness. Murong Yen roared ferociously, and a surging aura burst out of his body. A heat wave soared into the clouds, looking like a resplendent meteor. A berserk aura surged out, sweeping away everything in its path. Everything within 10 kilometers turned to dust. Just the berserk aura alone could already reach such a level of might. This showed how ferocious this fist technique was. Murong Yen laughed loudly, and a dragon roared. A fiery light spread out as his fist light landed on the demonic blood thousand-winged snake. Oh no! In the distance, Xiaochen, who was using the dragon might containing the heaven dragon's mysteries to protect Lu Ruyun, slapped his forehead. He could not bear to watch the scene before him. Murong Yen fought an intense battle with the demonic blood thousand-winged snake alone, displaying the fiery ferocity of the red dragon race. There was a smile on his face, and his mind surged with excitement. He fought to his heart's content. Soon, Murong Yen was somewhat shocked to discover that although the demonic blood thousand-winged snake's aura was weakening, it was not weak at all. As the saying goes, a centipede dies but does not fall down, let alone an overlord-level humanoid king ferocious beast. In merely 10-odd moves, Murong Yen found himself in a perilous situation, on the verge of revealing his great desolate Ian bloodline at any moment. Wait for me, don't move. Xiaochen warned. You might become our trump card and reverse the situation at any time. When Lu Ruyun heard that, she nodded and said, Don't worry. I understand. Xiao. Before Lu Ruyun could finish speaking, she saw Xiaochen turn into a flash of electric light and charge over. In an instant, he arrived above the demonic blood thousand-winged snake. Xiaochen did not hesitate to land his killing move. Firmament's rage. The rage of a great desolate Ian ancestor dragon transcended time and space, coming from the past to the present. Its rage filled the sky. When one looked up, it looked like the rage of the firmament, unquenchable. A colossal flaming palm tore through the sky. Xiaochen showed a stern expression, and 2 Dao discs of the lightning Dao and the saber Dao appeared behind him. The saber Dao and the thunder Dao infused into the colossal palm. Immediately, Xiaochen's 5 fingers became like sabers, flickering with electricity. When he smashed the palm down, he smashed the demonic blood thousand-winged snake down from the sky. Electric light exploded, and the demonic blood thousand-winged snake's entire body trembled. Xiao Chen's 5 fingers were like sabers, leaving 5 huge holes in the demonic blood thousand-winged snake's body. Blood spurted out like a fountain. Xiao Chen. When Murong Yen saw Xiao Chen appear, he rejoiced at first. Then he said, "Quickly, let's go. This demonic blood thousand-winged snake is harder to deal with than we imagined. We cannot kill it." "It's too late." Xiao Chen sighed softly. "What do you mean?" Murong Yen still did not understand. Closely after that, many figures appeared. Sidu Changfeng, Wei Hongfei, and Duan Fei appeared one after another. "Damn! Why are you all here? Weren't you all scared off?" Murong Yen exclaimed in shock. Xiao Chen said helplessly, "You are overthinking things. It is not just them. Eccentric Tai, the Murong couple, Bailey Xiao, and the others should be here as well. They were just waiting to see if there were any fools who could not resist making a move. Then they would reap the benefits." Unexpectedly, they succeeded in their gamble. Murong Yen could not help raging, "Damn! These fellows are using me as a tool." "Xiao Chen, what should we do now?" Wei Hongfei asked as he looked at Xiao Chen. At some point in time, Xiao Chen had already become the core of the team. All the decisions had to be made by him. "I can't be bothered. In for a penny, in for a pound. After we kill this reptile, we will take 80% of the profits." Decisiveness flashed in Xiao Chen's eyes. He said coldly, "If they want to watch a show, then let them watch to their heart's content." The breathing of the others turned somewhat ragged. They had not expected Xiao Chen to be so decisive, going all out against them. Good. Everyone was influenced by Xiao Chen. They did not hesitate to speak seriously. The group attacked together, not holding anything back as they fought an intense battle with the demonic blood thousand-winged snake. In the darkness, eccentric Tai hid behind a rock and smiled coldly. "A bunch of fools. Did they really think that they scared us away?" The Murong couple also revealed smiles, happy to see this happen. After Bailey Xiao smiled coldly, he heaved a sigh of relief. His team had suffered the most casualties. Of the 9, only 5 remained. Originally, Bailey Xiao worried that his team's strength would drop and that he would not have the right to speak. Upon seeing this scene, Bailey Xiao could not help feeling overjoyed. As Bailey Xiao thought, a figure landed between them. This startled him. Qi Yunfeng was significantly injured. He smiled embarrassedly and said, "Brother Bailey, do you mind if I rest here for a while?" The heaven-suspending war chariot had been destroyed, and Qi Yunfeng had managed to escape. However, he had lost his greatest support, so he came to Bailey Xiao's place to form a temporary alliance. Bailey Xiao understood. He smiled and said, "You are very welcome." Bailey Xiao happened to lack manpower. How could he reject? A centipede might die, but it would not fall over. However, this demonic blood thousand-winged snake was too severely injured. Xiao Chen's group of 5 did not give each other any warning. They attacked with their full power, working together and stabilizing the situation. They trapped the demonic blood thousand-winged snake, not giving it a chance to counterattack or flee. The group used the dragon race's martial techniques. Strong winds, lightning, fire, and sunlight formed the divine Dragon 4 Divisions formation. Xiao Chen and the others decided to end the battle quickly. Supreme Dragon Fist, Master of the World. When Xiao Chen saw that the demonic blood thousand-winged snake was about to launch a desperate counterattack, he snorted coldly. Xiao Chen circulated his energy for the Supreme Dragon Fist and punched. A blazing dragon might materialized a banner filled with killing intent burning in flames. The instant the banner appeared, the killing intent in the air soared. The heaven dragon's might on Xiao Chen's body soared, bursting out with the arrogance of a sovereign looking down on the world. "You want to counterattack? No way. Get down." Boom! This supreme dragon banner with surging killing chi descended from the sky. It carried an incomparably tyrannical air, carrying the might of the heavens. It turned into a beam of light and instantly stabbed into the demonic blood thousand-winged snake's neck. Rumble! The ground shook continuously. Xiao Chen's supreme dragon banner pinned the demonic blood thousand-winged snake, which wanted to launch a powerful killing move, to the ground. The demonic blood thousand-winged snake roared endlessly, struggling endlessly. The supreme dragon banner shook, on the verge of breaking. Red Dragon's profoundness, inextinguishable rage. Murong Yen roared, and his entire body radiated the pure Red Dragon's dragon might. His figure flashed, and he landed on the top of the flagpole. Golden Dragon profundity, inextinguishable light. Wei Hongfei snorted coldly. His body spun around continuously, releasing a golden light made of golden dragon chi that shone in the surroundings. Murong Yen supported the sky with one hand and placed it above his head. Then, Wei Hongfei landed firmly on his hand. Boom! The might of the supreme dragon banner increased. The demonic blood thousand-winged snake roared in pain, and its aura plummeted. Green Dragon's profoundness, spring wind and rain. Blue Dragon profoundness, wind conquers the world. As Situ Changfeng and Duan Fei joined in, using their own strength to support the supreme dragon banner, the demonic blood thousand-winged snake's aura continuously weakened. Heaven Dragon profundity, heart higher than the heavens. Xiao Chen descended from the sky, and his dragon might merged with the Heaven Dragon's mysteries. Then he landed firmly on Situ Changfeng's palm. Bang! The final strike caused the might of the supreme dragon banner to soar explosively, and the snake's head separated from its body. The demonic blood thousand-winged snake's mountain-sized head directly blasted away. The supreme dragon fist, which contained fist force, turned into thousands of strands of dragon chi spreading out. The few people who were like pillars supporting the sky quickly scattered, revealing smiles on their faces. Clap, clap, clap. The outstanding talents of the Empire are truly incredible. This is a great eye-opener. This old man is in awe. Eccentric Tai clapped his hands and appeared with a superficial smile. His eyes gleamed as he looked at the demonic blood thousand-winged snake's corpse on the ground. Indeed, I did not choose the wrong people. However, you can all withdraw now. It is time for us to decide how to split this demonic blood thousand-winged snake. Murong Sheng and his wife, Bailey Xiao, and the others appeared one after another. They all felt that they had the upper hand, so they directly told Xiao Qin and the others to scatter. Eccentric Tai frowned slightly and said in a cold voice, "Why are you still not scramming? Do you think you can split the war spoils? I don't have much patience." Xiao Chen and the others exchanged glances. After a while, they suddenly guffawed. This baffled Bailey Xiao and the others, making them feel somewhat depressed. Xiao Chen shouted, "How do we deal with those who offend our empire's dragon might? Kill without mercy. Fight to the death." Murong Yen and the others answered loudly. Before Xiao Chen finished speaking, the five activated their great desolate Ian bloodlines at the same time. In that instant, an ancient dragon might from the great desolate Ian surged out. The five all had divine dragon bloodlines. The moment they activated their bloodlines, the ancient bloodline power in their bodies surged out uncontrollably like a flood that broke the dam. In the dusky sky, there was only the roar of the dragon, deep and furious. Bailey Xiao and the others were so frightened that they nearly cried. They simply did not expect Xiao Chen's five to be so decisive. The five did not give them a chance to negotiate, not compromising at all. At the same time, they activated their great desolate Ian bloodlines. The first to bear the brunt was Eccentric Tai, who stood at the very front. The five struck Eccentric Tai at the same time. In less than a second, the Berserk Divine Dragon veritable essence energy blasted his body apart, leaving no corpse behind. Chapter 1938. Eccentric Tai's death was truly unjust. It was not that he did not expect this. No matter how weak the five were, they still had their divine dragon bloodlines that had not been activated. However, once the divine dragon bloodline was activated, the group's originally weak bodies would become even weaker after the process ended. At that time, not to mention a star venerate, even a major primal core venerate would be able to end them. Under such circumstances, Xiao Chen and the others would definitely compromise. Who would have thought that Xiao Qian and the others would not even bother saying a word? They had already thought of how these people would deal with the situation. At the same time, they activated their great desolate Ian bloodlines. Caught off guard, they could not even retaliate. They were blasted into dregs. The Five's auras flourished as they chased relentlessly. Before Bailey Xiu's team got far, they were all destroyed. Qi Yunfeng was right. When the Five activated their great desolate Ian bloodlines, even a sovereign personage would have to run. Furthermore, they were far from a sovereign personage. How could they run? Bang! 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 Murong Sheng and his wife were prepared. They endured their severe injuries and ran far away. However, Xiaochen did not want to let them go. A red light flashed on his ring, and the demon blood vulture screeched as it gave chase. In mere moments, only Qi Yunfeng remained of the group of people that came with a ferocious aura, fleeing wildly. Qi Yunfeng paled in fright. Cold sweat poured down his face as the fear of death shrouded his heart. A horrifying great desolate Ian dragon might spread out in the world, preventing him from bringing out even 50% of his strength. Flying Cloud Talisman. The deaths of the others bought Qi Yunfeng some time to bring out his trump card. A talisman appeared. After activating it, Qi Yunfeng stood on a flying cloud, and his speed more than tripled. It looked like Xiao Chen and the others would not be able to catch up. A wind blew, and willow leaves fluttered. A saber light chased after the sun in clouds, piercing Qi Yunfeng's chest. Qi Yunfeng fell like a broken kite. Who knew? He held his breath and endured the intense pain, continuing to flee. Lu Ruyun stretched out her hand and grabbed her saber. She frowned slightly. Clearly, she had not expected Qi Yunfeng to have the strength to continue fleeing. Qi Yunfeng's armor should have blocked much of the saber's might. Otherwise, he would not have ended up like this. Don't give chase. Seeing that Zhang Xian still wanted to pursue the matter, Xiao Chen spoke up. Qi Yunfeng was not a simple person. Xiao Chen did not know what other trump cards he had. If he ran, so be it. Xiao Chen, who knew his background, did not take him too seriously. As soon as they finished speaking, their auras weakened rapidly, falling to the bottom of the valley. However, all of them had smiles on their faces. They all felt incomparably delighted. Back then, they had been worried. If this group of people waited for them to finish killing the demonic blood thousand-winged snake and kill the donkey after it was no longer of use, how would they deal with them? Xiao Chen didn't think too much about it. He had already planned this move, activating his bloodline and striking like lightning. Since they had already fallen out, there was no need to show mercy. Haha, it's been a long time since I've had such a good time. These bastards are all hiding and not coming out. They actually dare to use me as a tool. Murong Yen vented his frustrations and felt incredibly delighted. Suddenly, he turned his head and said, Xiao Chen, thank you. Xiao Chen and Sidu Changfeng exchanged glances, thinking that they heard wrong. This Murong Yen was famous for being heartless. Xiao Chen and Sidu Changfeng had saved him many times, but he had never said a word of thanks. This was the first time the two heard it, and they found it strange. The others also looked at Murong Yen strangely. Murong Yen asked anxiously, What's wrong with me? Did I say something wrong? Wei Hongfei scolded, Brat, you are used to being heartless. You finally said something nice. Xiao Chen, how should we deal with this demonic blood thousand-winged snake? Xiao Chen entered deep thought. Just its head was the size of a small mountain. As for its body, it was even more colossal. It was indeed somewhat difficult to deal with. If they dealt with it all, they would probably waste a lot of time. Just take the important ones. As for how to split them, we can talk about it when we return. We can just take away the essence of the great desolate Ian demonic blood. However, we have to take away all 1,000 pairs of purple patterned wings. They are all peak materials for refining, worth at least 1 million primeval heavenly pills. We also have to take away the snake crown. However, be careful of the poison. Pull out the venomous fangs. Xiao Chen sized up the demonic blood thousand-winged snake as he gave instructions seriously. Even though it was much simpler, this was still a huge project. However, the group worked very hard, feeling very excited. Originally, They could only get 20% of the demonic blood thousand-winged snake. Now they got more than 80%. The rest were just scraps that they did not need. As for the demonic blood thousand-winged snake's most valuable beast core, Xiaochen personally went to retrieve it. The beast core was covered in purple cloud patterns and gave off a strong aura, flickering with a faint light. This was the beast core of an overlord-class sovereign personage ferocious beast. Its value already surpassed Xiaochen's estimation. He needed to find a good appraiser to give it a reasonable valuation. Otherwise, if he sold it off carelessly, he would suffer a huge loss. Xiaochen, we already removed all the purple patterned wings. We have more or less collected the great desolate Aeon demonic blood essence. We obtained the venomous fangs. There are a total of 9 of them. Even without refining them, they are bone weapons equal to Dao tools. We already took out the snake crown. It was really difficult to deal with. The venom nearly spilled on me. The people who obtained the demonic blood thousand-winged snake's parts came to report to Xiaochen one after another. They did not say anything, directly handing them to him for safekeeping. This was a form of trust. The decisiveness and level-headedness that Xiaochen showed in the past few dangerous situations convinced the others. Xiaochen, come and take a look. What is this? Wei Hongfei called out to Xiaochen as he stood on the demonic blood thousand-winged snake's head. With a thought, Xiaochen's figure flashed, and he landed beside Wei Hongfei. Then he looked in the direction Wei Hongfei pointed. That is, Xiaochen saw many terrifying black lightning bolts in the demonic blood thousand-winged snake's head. This is tribulation lightning. Xiaochen exclaimed with some shock. What tribulation is this demonic blood thousand-winged snake undergoing? To think that this tribulation lightning even makes me feel some fear. Wei Hongfei thought to himself, we got lucky. It turned out that the demonic blood thousand-winged snake that we were fighting was refining the tribulation lightning at the same time. Its lightning tribulation probably sent down an extremely special tribulation lightning, wanting to subdue and refine it for its own use. We got lucky this time. If it did not refine this tribulation lightning, the consequences would be unimaginable. Wei Hongfei explained his analysis. Xiaochen nodded in agreement. This tribulation lightning piqued his interest. Among us, you are the only one who cultivates the Thunder Great Tao. You should subdue it, Wei Hongfei said when he saw through Xiaochen's thoughts. Xiaochen did not reject. I'll give it a try. After saying that, Xiaochen directly entered the head and used his saber intent to carve out a path for himself. Then he followed the source of the tribulation lightning. The lightning in the head occasionally struck Xiaochen's body, causing him some pain. This made him even more interested. Found it. Traveling through the head was not easy. Xiaochen spent a lot of effort before arriving at the source of the tribulation lightning. A sword? Xiaochen revealed a strange expression. To think that the demonic blood thousand-winged snake had already refined the source of the tribulation lightning into a crude sword embryo. Ancient words formed naturally in the world were carved on the embryo. They flickered with golden light and contained the supreme principles, swimming around like tadpoles. It is actually a strand of grand unity, profound lightning. There were records in the incomplete memories of the faux god flame that Xiaochen inherited. The tribulation lightning that contained the supreme principles of the world was called grand unity, profound lightning. It was extremely rare. It was the Tao naturally materialized by the heavenly Tao, produced when it mixed with the lightning. It could only be found and not sought. It was very difficult to obtain. No wonder this demonic blood thousand-winged snake wanted to refine it into a weapon. Once it succeeded, it would be a grand unity profound weapon. Its might would be unimaginably great. Xiaochen's heart skipped a beat. Without thinking too much, he erased the remnant thoughts and spiritual mark on the sword embryo. Then he placed his spiritual mark on it and stored it in his palm. However, this was just a primitive sword embryo. He did not know how much time it would take to form. Of course, if he did not want to refine it into a grand unity profound weapon, he could directly absorb it. Xiaochen's divine lightning eye was sufficient to digest this grand unity profound lightning. Xiaochen could accept both choices. It all depended on which one he chose. After leaving the demonic blood thousand-winged snake's head, they discovered that most of the valuable parts of the demonic blood thousand-winged snake had already been harvested. When Murong Yen and the others gathered, they handed the other parts they collected to Xiao Chen for safekeeping. The huge body that remained was actually very valuable as well. However, it was too large. The group's storage rings could not contain it. The demon blood vulture that chased after the Murong couple returned amid strange cries, perfectly completing its mission. Let's search the surroundings. There are usually 10,000-year-old spirit herbs around overlord-class ferocious beasts. Perhaps there might be an unexpected harvest. Xiao Chen said softly as he looked around. I nearly forgot about this. We do have to search properly, Wei Hongfei said with a smile. If they found it, it would be a huge, pleasant surprise. Chapter 1939. As the others searched for unknown natural treasures, a voice rang out in Xiao Chen's mind. The demon blood vulture sent him a voice projection. Ran away. When Xiao Chen saw the demon blood vulture returning with a baleful aura, he thought that it had perfectly completed its mission. Unexpectedly, it still let the two go. So be it. Xiao Chen was not a bloodthirsty person. He would teach the other party a lesson. In the future, the other party would know who he should not offend. After casually consoling him, Xiao Chen did not take this matter to heart and joined the search. In the distance, a flickering heaven-suspending war chariot flew over the fleeing Qi Yunfeng. Qi Yunfeng raised his head to take a look. The war chariot flew too fast, so he could not see it clearly. He only saw the insignia of the heavenly lodging palace on the war chariot. It was the heaven-suspending war chariot of the heavenly lodging palace. Furthermore, it was a 2-star one. A 1-star heaven-suspending war chariot could not compare to a 2-star heaven-suspending war chariot. With this war chariot, Xiao Chen would not even need to fear a sovereign personage. Qi Yunfeng's chest was still bleeding. The incredibly weak Qi Yunfeng did not even know if he could walk out of this desolate God Valley. How could he think about anything else? Retracting his gaze, he continued walking forward. Oh, isn't this the ruling sword gate's Qi Yunfeng? The heaven-suspending war chariot that just flew over returned. The hatch opened, and a youth in blue embroidered clothes walked out. He mocked, "Why are you in such a sorry state? Where is your 1-star heaven-suspending war chariot? Drive it out and compete with my 2-star heaven-suspending war chariot." Qi Yunfeng felt slightly stunned. He had not expected the war chariot to return. The blood sand was hazy, and Qi Yunfeng's strength had dropped, so he could not clearly see that person's appearance. After a long time, Xiao Chen discovered that it was Hua Qingyun, the Heavenly Lodging Palace branch's young sect master in ancient desolate town. Xiao Chen's grandfather was an existence that surpassed sovereign personages in the Heavenly Lodging Palace. He was very strong and could be considered a wealthy young master of the sect. Furthermore, he managed some authority in the Heavenly Lodging Palace's branch. In ancient desolate town, Xiao Chen was someone who could do whatever he wanted. Qi Yunfeng had met Xiao Chen once before, so he knew that the other party was mocking him. He smiled bitterly and said, "Young Master Hua must be joking. How can my broken war chariot compare to young Master Hua's? Furthermore, the demonic blood thousand-winged snake already destroyed my war chariot." What? A demonic blood thousand-winged snake? Hua Qingyun's expression changed drastically. He shouted, "Speak! Where is the demonic blood thousand-winged snake? Men, invite him up here." Qi Yunfeng had purposely said this to attract this person's attention. After he went up, he told the story of his encounter, adding details to the story. He sighed softly. After all, they are disciples of the Divine Dragon Empire's Dragon's Gate. We just killed the demonic blood thousand-winged snake, and they immediately fell out with us. Our ruling sword gate cannot afford to offend them. Right now, a group of people is probably harvesting the demonic blood thousand-winged snake's corpse. Hua Qingyun sneered and said, "How dare you? I'll help you vent your anger. This is not their Divine Dragon Empire's territory. To think that they dare to be so arrogant in ancient desolate town. Many thanks, young Master Hua. However, they are disciples of the Dragon's Gate, after all. If I suffer some grievances, I will just endure it. Young Master Hua, there is no need to make a big fuss and offend the people of the Dragon's Gate. Hua Qingyun laughed loudly and said, if they were inner sect disciples, I would give them some face. However, they are just a group of outer palace disciples. How dare they bully the people of our ancient desolate town? No way. Qi Yunfeng smiled coldly in his heart. Seeing that he managed to incite conflict with Hua Qingyun with just a few words, he could not help feeling cocky. Why are you still sitting there? What are you doing? Feeling confused, Qi Yunfeng asked, Young Master Hua, what do you mean? Friend, I already said that I would stand up for you. Do you still want to go with me? Bang! Right after Hua Qingyun spoke, he kicked Qi Yunfeng off the heavens suspending war chariot. When Hua Qingyun saw Qi Yunfeng land and roll a few times on the ground, he could not help laughing loudly. Qi Yunfeng lay on the ground in so much pain that tears flowed out. He cried out in grief. Today was really the worst day of his life. Young master, good kick. This fellow is full of bad intentions. He might even be feeling cocky about successfully sowing discord between young master and those Dragon's Gate disciples. A gray-clad old man came over and fawned over Hua Qingyun. Hua Qingyun mocked. Others might not know what kind of person he is, but do you think I do not know? He is just a broker. He has done several shady things. I thought that no one knew. The gray-clad old man asked, Young master, what are your plans? A bright light flashed in Hua Qingyun's eyes as he said, the ninth elder of the main palace hall seems to have reached a bottleneck in his poison cultivation technique. I can give him a demonic blood thousand-winged snake spirit core. The gray-clad old man said, however, Elder Su and the others said that they made a big discovery in desolate God Valley and needed this 2-star heaven suspending war chariot to hold the fort. What's the rush? It is just a group of Dragon's Gate cultivators who activated their great desolate Ian bloodlines. Dealing with them will not take much time. Hua Qingyun's tone brimmed with pride, not caring about Xiao Chen's group at all. 2-star heaven suspending war chariot, accelerate at full speed. Xiao Chen and the others who were searching for natural treasures did not know that a huge problem was quickly heading their way. Found it. Lu Ruyun cheered, drawing everyone's attention. They saw a scarlet, glistening 7-petal flower under the rubble of a mountain range. A fruit that looked like a ghost face grew in the middle of the petals, looking exceptionally sinister. A demonic blood ghost face flower. Wei Hongfei exclaimed, we really struck it rich this time. Xiao Chen went over to take a look. Then he said, it is more than 10,000 years old. As for how old it is, we will need a professional alchemist to determine it. Lu Ruyun frowned and said, this ghost face looks really scary. This fruit is actually the essence. However, we cannot consume it. Demonic Dao cultivators can use it and exchange it for resources in the black market. Let's keep these 7 demonic blood leaves and consume them when we reach the sovereign personage realm. They will be able to bring out their greatest effects and strengthen our soul energy. Sidu Changfeng understood the demonic blood ghost face flower very well. The group carefully picked it off and handed it to Xiao Chen for safekeeping. Boom! Suddenly, a piercing whistle came from the distance. Lu Ruyun found the voice familiar. She exclaimed in shock, it's a 2-star heaven suspending war chariot. A 2-star heaven suspending war chariot was several times faster than a 1-star heaven suspending war chariot. By the time the group discovered it, they could no longer flee. Bang! The war chariot landed in front of the group and crashed heavily into the ground, creating a huge shock wave that surged out. The expressions of Wei Hongfei and the others changed slightly. Right now, they had not recovered much of their strength. Calm down. Xiao Chen's expression did not change as he released the demon blood vulture. The demon blood vulture understood Xiao Chen's meaning. It let out a loud cry, and its demonic nature erupted, turning its entire body scarlet. A strong scarlet wind blew back the shock wave, nearly sending the 2-star heaven suspending war chariot flying. Hua Qingyun cursed in the war chariot. When he saw that it was the demon blood vulture, his eyes lit up. He said, there are so many good things. The few of you, go out and say that this young master is interested in this demon blood vulture. Get them to hand over the demon blood vulture and the demonic blood thousand-winged snake's beast core, and they can leave. Young master is really benevolent. You only want the beast core and the demon blood vulture. You are giving them too much face. Hua Qingyun smiled and said, "Stop sucking up. Quickly go out." "There's no need." Just at this moment, a cold snort rang out. Hua Qingyun demanded, "Who is it?" Bang! Hua Qingyun's reply was a heavy punch from Xiao Chen. 50 cauldron force flew out together with a dragon roar. The 2-star heavens suspending war chariots hatch directly shattered. Then, it flew into the war chariot with the remaining force. The broken hatch whizzed over, kicking up a boundless strong wind that scattered the decorations in the war chariot, turning it into a mess. "You are seeking death." Hua Qingyun raged. He stretched out his hand and caught the hatch. However, Hua Qingyun had somewhat underestimated the strength of the hatch. Blood leaked out of a corner of his lips as he got knocked back. Xiao Chen blocked the entrance alone and gave it a cursory glance. There were 10 odd people in the war chariot. Aside from the cultivators controlling the war chariot, there were 10 other holy venerates. This was a rather strong team, especially that gray-clad old man. He was no weaker than eccentric Tai. A vital chi cultivator. The gray-clad old man frowned and asked, "Friend, where are you from?" Xiao Chen retorted indifferently, "Can't you make out the dragon race aura on me?" The gray-clad old man immediately felt goosebumps in his heart. He had kicked a metal plate this time. As he looked at the calm and relaxed Xiao Chen, he found him somewhat unfathomable. He stretched out his hand to stop the enraged Hua Qingyun behind him. "So, it is a dragon race disciple. I wonder what kind of misunderstanding there is? We are just passing by." Xiao Chen retorted coldly, "Stop pretending. It's not like I did not hear what you said in there." Honestly speaking, Xiao Chen had many reservations about his current strength in the sect, preventing him from bringing it out. However, once he left the sect, he had many trump cards. Unless a sovereign personage arrived, he would not fear anyone. As long as Xiao Chen did not bully others, it would be fine. Those who dared to target him were simply reckless. "Old Yang, why are you afraid of him? Attack together and take down this mixed-blood dragon." Hua Qingyun snorted coldly. Then, he led the cultivators in the war chariot to charge at Xiao Chen, ignoring the gray-clad old man's obstruction. "You overestimate yourself," Xiao Chen said indifferently. Then, 2 Dao discs appeared behind him, and his great perfection Dao might layered over each other. Then, he infused the mysteries of the heaven dragon into his dragon might. His aura immediately soared as he charged at Hua Qingyun's group of 10. Chapter 1940. Bang! The sounds of intense fighting came from the 2-star heavens suspending war chariot, making Murong Yen and the others outside nervous. "Damn it! I'll go and take a look." Murong Yen cursed and wanted to charge over. However, Lu Ruyun blocked him. Lu Ruyun said, "The few of you have not recovered yet. You are not even comparable to a star venerate. What can you do in there?" Xiao Chen said that he can go alone. "Trust him." Murong Yen grumbled somewhat irritably. Then, he looked at the demon blood vulture at the side and said, "This silly bird looks pretty strong. Why is it not going in to help Xiao Chen?" Sidu Changfeng and the others sat cross-legged and cultivated, refining medicinal pills to recover their strength, ignoring him. Lu Ruyun said, "It should be staying behind to protect you. Don't worry. Just watch what Sidu Changfeng and the others are doing. Just follow." Murong Yen turned his head and discovered that Sidu Changfeng and the others were treating their injuries quickly. Murong Yen slapped his forehead and said in frustration, "I should have reacted earlier." Clearly, doing his best to recover his strength at this moment was the most important thing. Seeing Murong Yen turn obedient, Lu Ruyun relaxed slightly. However, she still felt somewhat worried. Like Murong Yen and the others, Xiao Chen activated his great desolate Ian bloodline. Why is he still able to fight, even boldly charging into the 2-star heavens suspending war chariot alone? What trump cards does he have? Never mind. I'll just do as he says. Lu Ruyun moved like a leaf, gently drifting down and landing above the heavens suspending war chariot. Xiao Chen wanted her to guard the back door. If anyone tried to escape, she was to immediately block them. However, Lu Ruyun did not know where Xiao Chen got his confidence to be so sure that he could force the other party out of the war chariot. In reality, Xiao Chen's spiritual energy and veritable essence energy were already drained. However, he still had his demonic Tao veritable essence energy, which he did not use at all. His vital qi was not depleted at all. Xiao Chen had not used his divine lightning eye, sharp spirit finger, Mahamaya abstinence violation saber technique, and many other trump cards. Naturally, he could still fight. Furthermore, the Heaven Dragon's mysteries that Xiao Chen comprehended had already materialized. He could infuse it into all sorts of martial techniques and movement techniques. Inside the Heaven's suspending chariot, the battle was intense. Hua Qingyun led 10 people, ignoring the gray-robed old man's attempts to stop him, charging at Xiao Chen. In the end, after a chaotic battle, the team of 11 people was completely unable to display their advantage in numbers against Xiao Chen. Xiao Chen merged the light of freedom's thunder dragon steps. His body moved like lightning, moving about freely. As for their auras, with the combination of Xiao Chen's 2 greater success Tao auras and the Heaven Dragon's ultimacy, the auras of the dozen-odd people were firmly suppressed by Xiao Chen from the beginning until the end. Dragon's Gate's secret technique, Firmament's Rage. Xiao Chen watched as the 10 people executed their killing moves, intending to go all out. Their holy venerate wills strengthened continuously. Their auras actually temporarily surpassed his. Without even thinking, Xiao Chen instantly executed Firmament's Rage. Lightning flickered on the enormous hand that supported the heavens. Its 5 fingers were like blades. With a single palm strike, it swept through everything before it. No one could stop it. Bang, bang. The 11 people, including Hua Qingyun, were all sent flying. They vomited mouthfuls of blood and fell to the ground. When one looked around, the entire war chariot's interior was in tatters. Aside from the gray-clad old man, only Xiao Chen remained standing. Damn it! If I had not been careless, I would have used the war chariot from the start to kill you all. This would not have happened. Hua Qingyun felt so much regret that his intestines turned green. As he looked at Xiao Chen, a murderous intent blazed in his eyes. He wished that he could swallow Xiao Chen alive on the spot. If you had not mentioned it, I would have forgotten about it. It turns out that this is a 2-star heaven suspending war chariot. The people are gone, but the war chariot remains. This matter is over, Xiao Chen said indifferently after sizing up the surroundings. Young man, don't go overboard when doing things. We only heard from Qi Yunfeng that you snatched the demonic blood 1,000-winged snake from him and wanted to uphold justice. Now, it looks like there is a misunderstanding. Let's just say that our heavenly lodging palace is in the wrong. Is that all right? The gray-clad old man, who had not made a move all this while, snorted coldly. Then he unleashed his aura, and a star chart with thousands of stars moving around appeared behind him. Aside from showing off his strength, the old man placed special emphasis on the words, Heavenly Lodging Palace. The Heavenly Lodging Palace was one of the few rank 7 sects in the northern region, a super faction. Its overall strength was not much weaker than the Divine Dragon Empires. This was especially so in ancient desolate town, where the Heavenly Lodging Palace branch was stronger than the other factions. Xiao Chen retorted indifferently, "Do you think that's all with just one sentence? Since you know that you are in the wrong, why are you not apologizing? However, I am a very easy person to negotiate with. There is no need for an apology. Just compensation will do." When Lu Ruyun, who was in the heavens suspending war chariot, heard this, she quivered and nearly fell over. Did I hear wrong? To think that Xiao Chen actually turned the tables and threatened the other party, even demanding compensation. The other party was from the Heavenly Lodging Palace. Furthermore, he was facing a late-stage holy venerate old man. Where did he get his confidence from? You! The gray-clad old man trembled in anger. He said furiously, "You are going too far. Don't go overboard. Old Yang, why are you wasting time with him? Just kill him and end all troubles." Hua Qingyun shouted as he struggled to get up. He had never felt so sullen before. Just obediently lie down. Xiaochen sent out a palm strike and smashed Hua Qingyun back down. Then he pulled over a chair with a wave of his hand. Holding the sheathed lunar shadow saber with one hand, he sat down. As the gray-clad old man stored up power and prepared to attack at any moment, he smiled and said, "Brat, it is not that you, the steward, are not willing to not attack. It is that he does not dare to. Old man, I was right, right? You have been observing me, trying to find openings in my fight with this trash, trying to figure out my limits. However, the more you watch, the more shocked you are, the less confident you are, right?" As he sat on the chair, Xiaochen revealed an indistinct smile. His eyes were as sharp as swords as they pierced the gray-clad old man. The gray-clad old man was immediately stunned. Cold sweat poured down his forehead. How does he know everything? That was right. From the very start, the gray-clad old man had been observing Xiaochen. The openings were secondary. The main thing was to figure out Xiaochen's limits. When one grew old and could not see clearly, one would not have the courage to make a move. Since when did such an incredible youth appear in the northern region? As the gray-clad old man watched Xiaochen calmly sit on the throne, the confidence he exuded put a mountain of pressure on the gray-clad old man. Everlasting heavenly constellation, reversing the starry heavens. Under the immense pressure, the gray-clad old man had to make a move even if he did not want to. The gray-clad old man roared ferociously. Success or failure depended on this palm strike. Then he threw a palm strike. The surroundings suddenly changed. The war chariot vanished, and everyone seemed to be in the boundless starry heavens. As the gray-clad old man threw a palm strike, the entire starry heavens spun in reverse. It was like a black hole appeared behind him, and a horrifying suction surged toward Xiaochen. What a strong palm strike! If this old man had attacked from the very start, the situation might have changed. As for now, Xiaochen smiled coldly, and his left hand moved, forming the Buddhist sect's 7-kill seal. It was like water could not be refined, like the sun and moon could not stay in the sky. Xiaochen's killing chi increased sevenfold. His killing intent wanted to fill the boundless starry heavens, slowing the spinning starry heavens. This is... The gray-clad old man was greatly startled. Horror appeared in his eyes. He had never seen such horrifying killing chi in his life. It was not over yet. Supreme Dragon Fist, Leaderless Dragons. Xiaochen formed the 7-kill seal with his left hand and executed the Supreme Dragon Fist with his right hand, using his overwhelming killing intent to drive this Supreme Dragon Fist. A berserk dragon roared, and killing intent soared into the clouds. When he punched, the starry heavens shattered. Xiaochen's punch knocked the gray-clad old man into the wall of the heavens suspending war chariot. Xiaochen hovered in the air, dragon chi surrounding him. His killing intent blazed, making him look like a murderous god. Xiaochen had modified his Supreme Dragon Fist, using killing chi to replace resentment with the 7-kill seal. With the 7-kill seal, the might of this punch increased sevenfold. Not only did the gray-clad old man's palm strike, but it also knocked him half dead. Horror filled his eyes. However, the gray-clad old man was incredible. The instant he retreated, he grabbed Hua Qingyun. "Let's go!" Not daring to linger, the gray-clad old man picked up Hua Yunfeng. Then his figure flashed, vanishing from Xiaochen's sight. Xiaochen did not find this strange. They must have used the formations in the heavens suspending war chariot to send them out. Xiaochen swept his gaze around and fixed it on the others who remained here. Finally, he fixed his gaze on one person. He demanded coldly, "Speak. Where was your 2-star war chariot heading in the first place?" When that person saw the murderous god Xiaochen, he immediately trembled like he had fallen into an ice cave, his entire body trembling in fear. "Don't kill me! Don't kill me! I'll speak. I'll speak. Xiaochen, we're here to help you." Just at this moment, Murong Yen and the others rushed over after recovering some of their strength. When they saw this scene, their jaws nearly fell off in shock. Chapter 1941. When Xiaochen saw Murong Yen and the others enter, he nodded slightly and continued interrogating them. for a group of holy venerates to drive a 2-star war chariot into desolate God Valley, they definitely had other motives. The 2-star war chariot was extremely powerful. If this group of people had started, they would have used the 2-star war chariot to attack them. Even Xiaochen could not deal with it. Unless he used the God Shadow Bow, he could only bring his group far away. Thankfully, Hua Qingyun had been careless and had given Xiaochen the opportunity to charge in and finish him off. 3 days ago, Elder Su led the elites of the Heavenly Lodging Palace's branch and mysteriously charged into desolate God Valley. If there's a major discovery, ask young Master Hua to bring the 2-star chariot over to help suppress the situation and seal off the scene. Under Xiaochen's mental pressure, the man did not dare to lie and confessed. Elder Su? What Elder Su? Our Heavenly Lodging Palace branch has 2 leaders. One is Elder Su Feng, and the other is Elder Lin Quan. This time, the leader is Elder Su Feng. Almost all the elites of the branch have been mobilized, and only Elder Lin Quan is left to oversee things. How strong is this Elder Su? Elder Su advanced to sovereign personage many years ago. Now, he is already a small perfection sovereign personage. What did you find? I don't know. I really don't know. Hua Xiao doesn't know either. They only said that it was a very shocking discovery, and even Elder Lin Quan almost came. Right now, they are trying their best to seal off the news. It looks like he really does not know. Xiaochen knocked out the other party with a palm strike. Then, Lu Ruyun led the fleeing gray-robed old man and Hua Qingyun back in. Clearly, the gray-robed old man had not expected that Xiaochen would expect him to flee and had made arrangements in advance. Xiaochen got Lu Ruyun, who was at her peak, to stand guard above the war chariot, ready to receive orders at any time, catching the other party off guard. Gentlemen, we admit defeat this time. However, we are members of the Heavenly Lodging Palace, one of the 3 rank 7 sects of the northern region. There's no need to kill us all. The gray-clad old man looked at Xiaochen and once again brought up the Heavenly Lodging Palace's name. Xiaochen said coldly, if the Heavenly Lodging Palace really cared about you, it would not have kept you in the branch. Furthermore, we have the Divine Dragon Empire backing us. Why would we fear your Heavenly Lodging Palace? You can only blame yourselves for being brainless, thinking that you can bully Dragon's Gate's outer palace disciples. The gray-robed old man said angrily, are you trying to incite a conflict between the 2 superpowers? When Xiaochen heard this, he couldn't help but sneer in his heart. This gray-robed old man was so anxious that his IQ had dropped. If there was no direct conflict of interest, why would the 2 superpowers fall out because of such a small conflict? If that were the case, the world would no longer be peaceful. Sects would be fighting each other everywhere. I can't be bothered to argue with you. Xiaochen gently knocked down the tyrant's saber in his hand, knocking out the severely injured person. Hua Qingyun, who was at the side, was scared out of his wits. He looked at Xiaochen, then at the people around him, feeling extremely regretful. Damn it. If I have the chance to return alive, I will definitely beat up Qi Yunfeng. What dog's hit is this? To think that I got into trouble for nothing. Boom! The heaven-suspending war chariot trembled for a while before spewing out a plume of flame. Then, under Lu Ruyun's control, it soared into the sky. Aside from him, toss everyone else out. Murong Yen smiled and said, Roger that. I'll handle this matter. Ha! Everyone in the war chariot, regardless of whether they were breathing or not, threw them to the ground with a palm strike first. When Hua Qingyun saw this scene, he was startled and repeatedly begged for mercy. However, the others did not say anything to him. After placing restrictions in his body, they knocked him out with a palm strike. He obtained a 2-star heaven-suspending war chariot just like that? Murong Yen felt like everything was a dream, feeling incredulous. Wei Hongfei looked at Xiaochen and said meaningfully, Xiaochen, how much strength did you hide from us? Right now, everyone could tell that Xiaochen's strength was not as simple as it appeared on the surface. Xiaochen was already much stronger than them. Even though they all used their great desolate Ian bloodlines, Xiaochen could still put up a fight. Xiaochen barged in alone and dealt with 10-odd ordinary holy venerates. One of them was even a late-stage holy venerate expert. Xiao Chen replied honestly, "It is nothing. That Su Feng should have taken away all the elites. Aside from the gray-clad old man being somewhat difficult to deal with, the others are not worth mentioning. I estimate that these are loose cultivators that the heavenly lodging palace recruited in ancient desolate town. Let's not care about that for now. Xiao Chen, what do you plan to do?" Sidu Changfeng asked. Right now, there were two paths before the group. One was to return home. The harvest this time was already sufficiently bountiful. If they went back and sold what they obtained, they would gain a great profit. Furthermore, they obtained a 2-star heaven-suspending war chariot for free, which was a pleasant surprise. The second choice was to see what exactly the heavenly lodging palace discovered for them to make such a big fuss about. The former was foolproof, but the latter was somewhat dangerous. How should they choose? Xiao Chen, you make the decision. I'll listen to you. Wei Hongfei was rather straightforward, directly letting Xiao Chen make the decision, not even bothering to discuss it. In any case, in the end, Xiao Chen would make the final decision. Xiao Chen thought for a while before saying, the other party should have discovered something big. Otherwise, they would not have sent out all the elites of the Heavenly Lodging Palace branch and still felt that it was not enough. Given our strength, going over to join in the excitement would just be seeking death. Sometimes, one should not join in on the excitement. If one was not careful, one might end up as cannon fodder. Are we giving up? Wei Hongfei felt somewhat dissatisfied. Xiao Chen smiled and said, naturally, that is impossible. After we return to ancient desolate town, we will spread the news. Doesn't the Heavenly Lodging Palace want to seal off the news? We will not go against their wishes. We will let the entire ancient desolate town know that their Heavenly Lodging Palace discovered a startling fortuitous encounter. Sidu Changfeng's eyes lit up. Good idea. We will have a chance only if we stir up the situation. Then, we will sell off the demonic blood thousand-wing snakes materials. We will use this opportunity to raise our strength. At that time, we will be more confident. Xiao Chen gave a simple explanation of his thoughts. Murong Yen scratched his head and asked, what if they obtain the fortuitous encounter in advance? What should we do? Xiao Chen replied calmly, that is impossible. I have a feeling that the thing that the Heavenly Lodging Palace discovered cannot be dealt with in a short time. Otherwise, there would be no need to make such a big fuss. Good, it is settled then. After making up her mind, Lu Ruyun controlled the war chariot and flew towards ancient desolate town. Naturally, the Heavenly Lodging Palace's insignia on the heaven-suspending war chariot was removed. The group also made some changes to its exterior. Otherwise, it would be somewhat problematic to drive it into ancient desolate town. Lu Ruyun had a heaven-suspending war chariot. Under her directions, the group quickly familiarized themselves with this 2-star war chariot. There were many formations in the war chariot that needed to be linked. It was very difficult for one person to control them fully. After familiarizing themselves with the war chariot, the 2-star heaven-suspending war chariot turned into a dazzling beam of light and rushed towards ancient desolate town. By relying on this 2-star heaven-suspending war chariot, the group rushed back in less than 1 day. It had to be said that the war chariot was indeed astonishingly fast. Look at the 2-star war chariot. It is really fast. Whose 2-star war chariot is this? Why is there no insignia? 2-star war chariots were extremely rare in ancient desolate town. Aside from those large factions, the number of them could be counted on one hand. When the group returned to ancient desolate town, the 2-star war chariot immediately attracted a lot of attention. After the group rented a luxurious courtyard in ancient desolate town, Xiao Chen made arrangements. Ruyun and I will go to the Merchant Association and sell the demonic blood thousand-wing snakes materials. You all should hurry and spread the news of the Heavenly Lodging Palace's great discovery, adding details to the story. No problem. Xiao Chen did not fear attracting attention. He got Lu Ruyun to drive the 2-star heaven-suspending war chariot to the Merchant Association. The top 10 merchant associations of the Central Great Realm all have branches in ancient desolate town. Xiao Chen, Which one are you going to pick? Lu Ruyun asked as she drove the war chariot. Xiao Chen nodded and said, let's go to the second-ranked merchant association. Got it. Boom! The war chariot sped up, moving quickly in the sky above ancient desolate town. Soon, the war chariot arrived above Xiao Chen's destination, the Nine Cauldron Pavilion. Then, it slowly descended. The various large merchant associations had a place to receive war chariots. When the managers saw the two-star war chariot descend, his eyes lit up. A major customer is here. Receive him according to the standards of a gold VIP. Xiao Chen and Lu Ruyun opened the war chariot's doors. The scene before them shocked them slightly. Xiao Chen saw 10 odd girls in their prime standing on both sides. They all wore the same clothes, looking sexy and enchanting. All of them bowed at the same time. Ha! Honored guests, sorry for not coming out to welcome you. A middle-aged man in embroidered clothes walked over with large strides with a forthright smile. Xiao Chen secretly sized up this person. He saw that this person had an extraordinary air. He was actually a peak holy venerate, looking like he would break through at any moment. This humble one is Li Xiuhai, the person in charge of this Nine Cauldron Pavilion. Might I ask who the two of you are? As the two approached, Li Xiuhai felt somewhat surprised. Two youths actually walked out of the two-star heavens suspending war chariot. One of them was not even a holy venerate. Li Xiuhai could not help feeling disappointed. However, he did not show it on his face. The person in charge? In that case, it's you. There's no need for you to ask who we are. Cancel the other contracts. We have a big business deal to do with you. Xiao Chen waved his hand and led Lu Ruyun away, completely ignoring this Li Xiuhai. This startled Li Xiuhai. What arrogance! Just as he felt displeased, he discovered that Xiao Chen had already walked some distance away, so he quickly followed. Li Xiuhai held back his anger and asked with a smile, might I ask how big the business is? However, Li Xiuhai smiled coldly in his heart. What kind of business has the Nine Cauldron Pavilion not seen? You are so young. What kind of business can you have? Could it be bigger than a sovereign personage's business? It is not that big. I just killed a demonic blood thousand-winged snake, Lu Ruyun replied softly with a smile. When Li Xiuhai heard that, he could not help feeling shocked. Did I hear wrong? A demonic blood thousand-winged snake? An overlord-class ferocious beast of the sovereign personage level. Chapter 1942. This greatly startled Li Xiuhai. He only reacted after being stunned for a long time. His eyes filled with disbelief. However, he did not dare to slight such a big deal. He instructed the person beside him with a grave expression, go and invite Mr. Bai. Mr. Bai was the highest-ranked appraiser in the Nine Cauldron Pavilion's ancient desolate town branch. There was no treasure that he could not appraise. Inside the booth, Li Xiuhai smiled at Xiao Chen and said, little brother, I have not asked for your great name yet. Grasshead Xiao, Sun Guangchen, Xiao Chen. Xiao Chen replied indifferently. So, it is young Master Xiao. Since you killed a demonic blood thousand-winged snake, shouldn't you take out something to prove it? A brilliant light flickered in Li Xiuhai's eyes, and the smile on his face never faded. Xiao Chen retorted indifferently, even if I let you take it out, can you appraise it? Li Xiuhai could not help feeling embarrassed. I have managed the Nine Cauldron Pavilion's branch for so many years. I still have some discerning eyes. Let's wait for the appraiser to arrive first. I do not want to waste time. After Xiao Chen said that, he ignored Li Xiuhai, making the other party feel somewhat uneasy. This young master, are you waiting for this old man? The door to the private room opened, and a well-dressed, spirited old man with powerful soul energy walked in. He had an extraordinary bearing. Li Xiuhai stood up and said, Mr. Bai, you are finally here. These two youths said that they killed a demonic blood thousand-winged snake. A demonic blood thousand-winged snake. Mr. Bai's eyes lit up. He said, let me see the beast core. Xiao Chen did not say anything. With a flip of his hand, he took out a mirror box and handed it to the other party. Boom! The mirror box opened, and a great desolate Aeon demonic might immediately surged out, spreading out in all directions. The entire private room shook slightly, and the array formation that was secretly reinforced in the room also trembled incessantly. An illusory demonic blood-thousand-winged snake charged out of the beast core at Mr. Bai. Li Xiuhai could not help feeling startled. "Mr. Bai. Beast, you are seeking death." Mr. Bai snorted coldly. Then, a strong soul energy surged out from his forehead and scattered the demonic blood-thousand-winged snake's ferocious spirit. Such powerful soul power. Xiao Chen felt slightly startled. This Mr. Bai's soul energy probably already rivaled that of a sovereign personage. When he controlled it, it was even more smooth and easy, and it contained boundlessly profound techniques. Good, good, good. Master Bai said good 3 times in a row. Then he guffawed. It is indeed the demonic blood-thousand-winged snake's beast core. To think that it died less than 3 days ago. Furthermore, it was stored in a treasure box used to seal the soul. Little brother, it seems like you know quite a lot of things. Li Xiuhai immediately rejoiced in his heart. Since Mr. Bai said so, it was clearly a big transaction. Ha, young Master Xiao Chen. No, young Master Chen's moves are truly extraordinary, worthy of admiration. Is it possible for the 9 Cauldron Pavilion to take all the other parts? Li Xiuhai looked at Xiao Chen with a smile. Even the way he addressed Xiao Chen instantly changed. Xiao Chen said indifferently, "There is no rush. Let's value this beast core first." Right. There is no rush. There is no rush. Master Bai, how much is this beast core worth? Li Xiuhai asked in anticipation. Master Bai thought for a while before replying. The value of an overlord-class sovereign personage ferocious beast core is rather public. Normally, it is worth about 2 million primeval heavenly pills. However, young Master Zhao's beast core still has a remnant soul, so its value is at least 20% higher. I estimate that 3 million primeval heavenly pills should be enough. Li Xiuhai felt very cocky. This number was already an astronomical figure. However, when he secretly glanced at Xiao Chen and Lu Riyun, he was greatly startled. Xiao Chen still maintained a calm expression. No change could be seen on his face. As for Lu Riyun, she had a smile on her face, but she was not startled. One was the White Dragon King's daughter, and the other had seen many grand scenes. How could they be easily frightened by 3 million primeval heavenly pills? Lu Riyun giggled and said, "I recall that there was an auction in the Divine Dragon Empire's ancestor Dragon City last year. Those who are not sovereign personages and the Dragon's Gate inner sect disciples are not allowed to enter. An overlord-class sovereign personage ferocious beast core seems to have been sold for 4 million primeval heavenly pills. If I recall correctly, the one hosting the auction back then was the Bai clan's current clan head. He also seemed to have auctioned it at the 9 Cauldron Pavilion. The Bai clan is one of the 3 appraisal noble clans of the Central Great Realm. I believe that they would not do something that would tarnish their reputation." The moment Lu Riyun said that, Li Xiuhai and Master Bai were startled. Li Xiuhai looked at Lu Riyun and asked, "Might I ask what Mrs. Identity is? Do you need me to repeat myself? Just take good care of us. Don't ask about our identities." Xiao Chen's face sank, revealing displeasure. This Li Xiuhai really did not care about his words at all. Sorry. This one is in the wrong. This one is in the wrong. For some reason, Li Xiuhai's heart sank when he saw Xiao Chen's expression, so he quickly apologized. Master Bai sent a voice projection. "Li Xiuhai, this girl's identity seems to be extraordinary. She understands my Bai clan very well, so we will not be able to fool her. The two of you are people who have seen much of the world. If we do not grasp this business well, it will end up in the hands of the Heavenly Essence Merchant Association. Very well. How much do you think this demonic blood-thousand-winged snake's beast core is worth? 5 million. Good. That's the price. No matter what, we have to get this business. An entire demonic blood-thousand-winged snake is worth half a year's worth of business." The two discussed in secret and quickly came up with an idea. Naturally, there will be a high price in the auction. If the two of you are willing to sell the other parts of the demonic blood thousand-winged snake at our 9-cauldron pavilion, I can offer 5 million primeval heavenly pills for this beast core. Li Xiuhai showed a grave expression as he looked at Xiao Chen. It seemed like he wanted to take the initiative. Xiao Chen said indifferently, "You can offer as much as you want. Don't add any other conditions. I do not like discussing business with people like this. Be more decisive. 5 million primeval heavenly pills. Do you accept it or not?" Dealing with businessmen was a headache. The other party looked like he was making a lot of concessions. However, once Xiao Chen agreed, the other party, who held the initiative, would definitely take it back with the other parts. This was what Xiao Chen hated the most. He said coldly, "Put away your little tricks. It's up to you whether you want to accept it or not." Li Xiuhai immediately felt nervous. Sweat trickled down his forehead. Before Xiao Chen's strong aura, Li Xiuhai was at a complete disadvantage. Master Bai could no longer keep watching. He said sullenly, "It's settled then. 4,500,000 primeval heavenly pills, no other conditions. One by one, I will make the final decision on this transaction." Li Xiuhai heaved a sigh of relief and nodded. Right. Master Bai, make the final decision." "Good. 4,500,000 primeval heavenly pills, deal." After the transaction was completed, Xiao Chen did not hesitate to take out the purple-patterned wings on the demonic blood thousand-winged snake's body. He kept 100 pairs for himself and offered the remaining 900. After Master Bai carefully appraised the wings, he offered 2 million primeval heavenly pills. Then, there was the great desolate Ian demonic blood essence, the venomous fangs that contained a strong poison, and the softest demonic blood thousand-winged snake skin. Every time Xiao Chen took out an item, Li Xiuhai and Master Bai felt startled. They simply could not believe that so many demonic blood thousand-winged snake resources came from one person. In the end, they became completely numb, unable to speak. After the transaction was completed, the number of primeval heavenly pills reached a horrifying 12 million. Li Xiuhai took out a VIP card and handed it to Xiao Chen. Then he smiled and said, "This is the 9-Cauldron Pavilion's Grade 1 VIP card. With this card, you can enjoy extremely high discounts in the entire Central Great Realm's 9-Cauldron Pavilion. This VIP card is extremely rare and limited. In the future, Sir Xiao will be a friend of our 9-Cauldron Pavilion." Xiao Chen put away the VIP card and nodded slightly. "I still need some things." A thought occurred to Li Xiuhai. He smiled and asked, "What does Sir Xiao want to buy?" "I need a medicinal pill for breaking through bottlenecks." Master Bai looked at Xiao Chen and said, "Young Master Xiao is currently a peak consummation star venerate. Although his cultivation is not high, his accumulations are frighteningly vast. The vastness of his veritable essence energy is no weaker than that of a regular holy venerate. If you want to break through, you need a rank for heavenly pill at the very least. The 9-Cauldron Pavilion happens to have such a medicinal pill." "What medicinal pill?" "The 7 Apertures Cloud Breaking Pill. A rank 4 heavenly pill, worth 2 million primeval heavenly pills. If young Master Xiao wants to buy it, it will only cost 1,500,000 primeval heavenly pills." "I'll buy it." Now that Xiao Chen could buy a medicinal pill for breaking through bottlenecks that he did not even dare to think about in the past, he did not even blink. This was a rare fortuitous encounter. Not taking advantage of this opportunity to break through to holy venerate clearly did not fit Xiao Chen's character. Previously, Xiao Chen was poor and did not dare to think about anything. Now that he had so many primeval heavenly pills, he naturally dared to think about anything. Xiao Chen said sullenly, "I still need you to help me find a blacksmith who can independently refine an inherited Dao tool. The price is not a problem." Master Bai guessed, a blacksmith who can independently refine an inherited Dao tool would be a rank 3 Grandmaster blacksmith. Such a person is not easy to find. "Li Xiuhai, do you have any connections in this area?" Li Xiuhai smiled and said, "As the person in charge of the 9-Cauldron Pavilion's ancient desolate town, naturally, I know people from all walks of life. Give me one day, and I'll help young Master Xiao find someone." Xiao Chen nodded and handed the tyrant's saber to Li Xiuhai. There is no rush. Let him look at this saber first. If he is confident, he can come. How heavy! After Li Xiuhai received the tyrant's saber, his expression changed slightly, finding it incredibly taxing. A look of shock flashed in Master Bai's eyes. However, he did not say anything. Soon, Xiao Chen obtained the 7 apertures cloud-breaking pill. Then, he asked Lu Riyun, "Is there anything you want to buy?" Lu Riyun smiled and asked, "What do you think?" After asking a nonsensical question, Xiao Chen put away the 7 apertures cloud-breaking pill and boarded the heavens-suspending war chariot. Xiao Chen thought to himself, "Things are going very smoothly on my side." However, I wonder how Murong Yan's side is doing. Young Master Xiao, take care. Come again when you have time. Li Xiuhai sent Xiao Chen off enthusiastically. When the war chariot took off, he could no longer control his expression. He laughed loudly. "Ha! This is great. I managed to close a transaction worth more than 10 million primeval heavenly crystals in one day. If I can do a few more, I can be transferred away from this desolate place at the end of the year." Master Bai's expression did not change. As he looked at the tyrant's saber in Li Xiuhai's hand, he muttered, "It really is the saber of misfortune, the tyrant's saber." "Master Bai, what did you say?" "Nothing." Chapter 1943. Did you hear? The Heavenly Lodging Palace discovered a deity corpse in desolate God Valley. A deity corpse? That's impossible. Ah, where did you hear that? The Heavenly Lodging Palace clearly discovered a damaged Heavenly Realm divine weapon. Damn, where did you hear that? Why did I hear that the Heavenly Lodging Palace discovered a divine beast in desolate God Valley? Divine beast? Divine my ass. How can there be a pure-blooded divine beast in this day and age? Cut the crap. It is a Heavenly Realm divine weapon. Why is it impossible? There are pure-blooded golden crows in the Golden Crow Empire. You are too ignorant. As Xiao Chen and Li Xiuhai discussed the deal, Murong Yan and the others spent money to hire people to spread rumors. At first, the rumors did not attract anyone's attention. However, some observant people discovered that something was wrong with the Heavenly Lodging Palace. The originally untrustworthy rumor had become confusing. Big news! The elites of the Heavenly Lodging Palace have all left the branch. Now, only Senior Lung Quan remains. Damn! Could the rumors be true? What is the Heavenly Lodging Palace doing? To think that all the elites left the branch. There's more news. The Heavenly Lodging Palace sent people back from desolate God Valley. The Heavenly Lodging Palace set up a forbidden zone in desolate God Valley. Murong Yan and the others did not need to worry too much about the rest. All they needed to do was add fuel to the fire. The news of the Heavenly Lodging Palace's great discovery in desolate God Valley instantly spread throughout ancient desolate town. This attracted the attention of many factions in ancient desolate town. The upper echelon of the ruling Sword Gate, one of ancient desolate town's rank 6 sects, gathered together to discuss what the Heavenly Lodging Palace discovered. Yi Rong, the ruling Sword Gate's vice sect master, asked with a grave expression, "Everyone, what do you think of the Heavenly Lodging Palace's abnormality?" Everyone here was a sovereign personage. Nearly all the elders of the ruling Sword Gate were present, presenting a grand spectacle. Right now, rumors are everywhere. However, none of them are reliable. The elites of the Heavenly Lodging Palace have indeed been sent out. They have also carved out a forbidden area in desolate God Valley. However, they have not revealed any information about what they discovered. An elder of the Imperial Sword Gate said with a solemn expression. Another elder added, "There's no need to overthink this. For the Heavenly Lodging Palace to lock down the news so tightly, they must have made an incredible discovery. They do not want others to know so that they can keep it for themselves. Humph! This Heavenly Lodging Palace is really becoming more and more overboard." The Heavenly Lodging Palace's headquarters were not here. As an external faction, they frequently suppressed the ruling Sword Gate and the other nearby rank 6 sections. The ruling sword gate had accumulated a lot of resentment. This time, the heavenly lodging palace went overboard. Shao Chun directly carved out a forbidden zone in desolate God Valley. How could these elders not be angry? Sect Master Li, that disciple of mine, Qi Yunfeng, spends most of his time in desolate God Valley. Perhaps he knows some information that we do not. Right at that moment, an old man with the appearance of a rat said with a smile. Li Rong frowned slightly when he saw this old man. This old man didn't have a good reputation. Shao Chun had also heard of Qi Yunfeng, Qi Yunfeng's disciple. He was a true inheritor of the ruling sword gate, yet he ran off to become a broker. But at this time, Li Rong realized that he really needed this person. He said, "Let him come over." Qi Yunfeng, who was currently recuperating from his injuries, felt confused. When someone brought him to the important place of the sect where all the elders were, he was immediately frightened into feeling weak in the knees. Normally, Shao Chun had violated the sect rules many times. Just as he was feeling anxious, he saw his master say to him, "Little Qi, you are familiar with desolate God Valley. Tell sect master what exactly the heavenly lodging palace is doing." So. Seeing the gazes of the many elders focused on him, Qi Yunfeng immediately felt somewhat guilty. How could he know what happened to the heavenly lodging palace? He hurriedly looked at his master as if asking for help. Li Rong was extremely disappointed by his master's performance. Just as he was about to wave his hand for him to leave, Qi Yunfeng said loudly, "I know. No wonder that Hua Qingyun drove the two-star heavens suspending war chariot to desolate God Valley. So, that is the reason." It turned out that this Qi Yunfeng had received a voice projection from his master. Qi Yunfeng, who naturally liked to take advantage of opportunities, immediately felt that his opportunity had arrived. Li Rong's eyes lit up. He smiled and said, "Good. In that case, tell me the details. If there is any basis, I can go and convince the people of the Northern Mountain Academy, the White Sun Mountain Manor, and the Azure Flame Pavilion to come with us." The ruling sword gate could not openly offend the heavenly lodging palace by itself. Only by working with all the rank 6 sects near ancient desolate town would there be a chance. At that time, the heavenly lodging palace would settle the score. If the rank 6 sects worked together, the heavenly lodging palace would not be able to do anything. That place is a forbidden land in the first place. Normally, there are not many cultivators there. Rushing there is just seeking death. I once accidentally barged in. If I had not retreated early, I would not have survived. Li Rong frowned and asked, "What exactly is in there?" Qi Yunfeng replied sullenly, "I'm not sure. I was chased by a group of damned servants and did not dare to stay for too long." Clearly, Qi Yunfeng's answer did not satisfy Li Rong. However, it was within his expectations. This was already sufficient to convince those rank 6 sects to travel with the ruling sword gate. If the heavenly lodging palace really obtained something, their already difficult days would become even more difficult. That's it. Leave half of our forces to guard the sect. The other elders and true inheritors will all go together. Qi Yunfeng. Present. Qi Yunfeng felt goosebumps from Vice Sect Master Li's stare. He did not dare to meet Vice Sect Master Li's gaze. "Since you are familiar with the terrain, you will lead the way. When necessary, provide some suggestions," Li Rong said seriously. "Yes." Qi Yunfeng immediately felt incredibly excited. This was an excellent opportunity to make a contribution. It was very likely that the rank 6 sects would need him to lead the way. My luck has changed. Hua Qingyun, don't let me run into you again. When Qi Yunfeng thought of that kick, he still felt extremely sullen. This was even more sullen than when Shao Chen and the others chased after him. He had never felt so wrong before. It was not just the ruling sword gate. The other major factions in ancient desolate town moved at nearly the same time, sending out their own scouts. They all wanted to know what exactly the heavenly lodging palace discovered for them to be so secretive, even sending out all their elites. Immediately, a storm brewed and undercurrents surged. As for the instigators of all this, Shao Chen, Murong Yen, and the others, they all rejoiced. When they returned to the courtyard and learned of the amount that Shao Chen had obtained, they were all stunned. Although they knew that the parts of the demonic blood thousand-winged snake's corpse would be extremely valuable, no one had expected it to be such a horrifying sum. In the end, they still had to thank Xiao Qin. If not for his decisiveness, they might have obtained only 10% of the profits. That was 1,500,000 primeval heavenly pills. After splitting them evenly, they would have 300,000 to 400,000 primeval heavenly pills. The rewards were still pretty good. However, that was all there was to it. It was far from enough to make everyone rejoice. After all, they were all heaven-class core disciples of the Divine Dragon Palace. The resources that they obtained had never been lacking. However, things were different now. 15 million primeval heavenly pills. Even if the 6 of them split it evenly, each of them would get an astronomical sum of 2 or 3 million. Ha! We really struck it rich this time. A smile bloomed on Murong Yan's face. Then, he said with a grave expression, I'm afraid that even my master would not have so many primeval heavenly pills. With such a large sum of primeval heavenly pills, I will definitely be able to enter Ancestor Dragon City. Wei Hongfei gestured for everyone to be quiet. Then he said, I suggest that Xiao Qin get 5 million primeval heavenly pills each. The rest of us can split the rest. Right. Xiao Qin, don't ever reject this. This is the amount that you deserve. Murong Yan immediately expressed his complete support without any objections. The others all understood that if not for Xiao Qin, Qi Yunfeng and the others would have worked together to make a fool out of them. The rewards that they would have obtained would not even be a fraction of what they were getting now. No one would be upset. For a moment, Xiao Qin did not know how to reject. Actually, he had kept some of every part of the demonic blood thousand-winged snake for himself. He had already obtained enough. Unfortunately, after he said it, the others still did not say anything. They shoved 5 million primeval heavenly pills into Xiao Qin's hands, not giving him a chance to reject. Xiao Qin felt warmth in his heart. Obtaining the acknowledgement of these friends indeed made him feel very comfortable. Lu Ruyun looked at Xiao Qin, who was surrounded by the crowd. Then, she tilted her head and revealed a smile. The more Lu Ruyun looked, the more she felt that Xiao Qin was the real Lu Riyue in the painting. At some point in time, Xiao Qin, who came from the Heaven Dragon Palace, became the absolute core of the group. No wonder Wei Hongfei fell out with senior brother Zhong Li for Xiao Qin's sake. The unity of the people in the group was far better than having an experienced and strong person. So Xiao. Just at this moment, a voice rang out from outside the courtyard. It was Li Xiuhai rushing over. Xiao Qin's heart skipped a beat. He knew why the other party was here. He stood up and said, Everyone, make good use of your time in the next few days to make another breakthrough. I will try to break through to Holy Venerate. Don't fall behind either. A brilliant light flashed in Murong Yan's eyes. He said, Don't worry. With so many resources, it would be too embarrassing if we still could not break through. Xiao Qin smiled and took his leave of the group for now, going to meet Li Xiuhai alone. Indeed, a tall and stout old man followed Li Xiuhai. This old man had a vast aura of fire and strong soul energy. With one look, it was clear that this was an extremely skilled blacksmith. Chapter 1944. Sir Xiao, this is Senior Yun, a rank 4 Grandmaster. He should be able to satisfy your requirements. Li Xiuhai introduced Senior Yun to Xiao Qin. Xiao Qin nodded and asked, Senior Yun, have you seen my saber? Senior Yun said proudly, I have. It is a peak inherited Dao tool. This old man believes that I can refine a Dao tool of this level again. Xiao Qin looked at Senior Yun somewhat suspiciously. Based on Senior Yun's expression, it seemed like he did not recognize the Tyrant Saber's origins. Boss Li, please step back for a while. Li Xiuhai did as he was told, performing a cupped fist salute and leaving. He did not know what Xiao Qin was up to. This saber of mine is not an ordinary inherited Dao tool. Senior Yun, you can take a closer look. Xiao Qin made an inviting gesture. Seeing Xiao Qin so serious, Senior Yun's expression turned grave. Then, he grasped the scabbard and carefully examined it. Lightning attributed. It has been passed down for a long time. What else is there? Senior Yun looked at Xiao Chen and said, Young Master Xiao, please draw the saber. Clang. Xiao Chen drew the tyrant saber with a backhand motion. A spot of cold light flowed down and gathered at the saber's tip, looking like a flickering icy star. Senior Yun's expression changed slightly. Then he gently flicked the saber with his finger. A melodious saber hum rang out, and the saber hummed. Then, Senior Yun heard something else amid this humming. Those were the cries of countless tyrannical, powerful bladesmen before they died. This is that misfortune saber. Senior Yun finally recalled it. Then he looked at Xiao Chen in shock. Young Master Xiao, you are really bold. Despite knowing the origins of this saber, you still dare to use it. This saber is not very auspicious. Anyone who wields this saber will eventually achieve hegemony. However, they will not have a good ending, dying a violent death. Xiao Chen said indifferently, that is because they do not understand the hegemonic Tao. Senior Yun, are you confident of modifying this saber for me? Senior Yun smiled and said, why not? How do you want to modify it? Just say it. Xiao Chen sheathed his saber and opened his palm. The Grand Unity Divine Lightning appeared in his hand. Tai Profound Bomb. Old Yun was startled. He grabbed Xiao Chen's hand and said excitedly, bring it over. Do you have more? Xiao Chen jumped in fright and quickly retracted the Tai Divine Lightning. Was there something wrong with this old man? Sorry, I was too excited. You don't know how excited we, as refiners, are when we see such a magical item that only exists in legends. I've been stuck at the 4th level of the Supreme Power Realm for many years. Xiao Chen asked curiously, this thing is deliberately helping Senior advance. Advancing might not be possible, but you will definitely gain a lot. Are you thinking of merging the Tai Divine Lightning with the Tyrant Saber? It was a good idea. In this way, the domineering saber might grow into a Tai dark weapon in the future. There will be unlimited possibilities in the future. The more Elder Yun spoke, the more excited he became. He rolled up his sleeves, ready to start refining now. Xiao Chen smiled embarrassedly and said, I say, Elder, there's no need to be so agitated. Ha! You do not understand the blacksmithing Tao. Naturally, you do not understand my current feelings. Right now, I feel like you found a supreme and profound saber technique and can't wait to practice it. Elder Yun guffawed and said, since it is merging the Tai Divine Lightning, I will not take your payment. After all, this is my first time doing this. Instead, I will be gaining experience for myself. When Xiao Chen heard that, he rejoiced. This was great. He could save a lot of resources. A rank 4 Grandmaster Refiner would be very remunerative. 200,000 primeval heavenly pills would probably be astronomical. However, I cannot help you pay for the other supplementary materials, Elder Yun said. Xiao Chen smiled and said, don't worry. I will get Li Xiuhai to make arrangements. Elder Yun, this way please. When I rented this courtyard, I specifically requested for a suitable refiner. After handing the Tai Profound Lightning and the Tyrant Saber to Elder Yun, Xiao Chen said seriously, I'll leave the rest to Elder Yun. I want to activate the strand of soul in the Tyrant Saber and improve my Thunder Great Tao. No problem. I will do my best. Sparks flickered in Elder Yun's eyes, appearing incredibly excited. Xiao Chen frowned to himself. He did not know whether this would work or not. Shaking his head, Xiao Chen stopped thinking about it. A rank 4 Grandmaster was already extremely incredible. If not for the 9 Cauldron Pavilion, Xiao Chen would not be able to find a rank 3 Grandmaster by himself. Sir Xiao, what instructions do you have? Li Xiuhai walked over with a smile. Now, he firmly believed that Xiao Chen was the god of fortune. It would not be wrong to befriend him. Xiao Chen made a list of all the supplementary materials needed for refining and handed them to the other party. Li Xiuhai took a casual glance and said that there was no problem. Then he pretended to say casually, recently, the Heavenly Lodging Palace's matter caused a huge commotion in ancient desolate town. I wonder if Sir Xiao has heard of it? Xiao Chen's expression did not change as he said, what is it? Tell me. Does this fellow really not know? Li Xiuhai could not see any suspicion in Xiao Chen's expression. He felt somewhat disappointed as he continued, I don't know what the heavenly lodging palace discovered in desolate God Valley. They actually sealed off the place and turned it into a forbidden zone. The 4 nearby rank 6 sects, the Ruling Sword Gate, the Northern Mountain Academy, the White Sun Sect, and the Wolf Smoke Pavilion, could not hold back and sent their elites over. Xiao Chen exclaimed in shock, to think that there is such a thing. The 9 Cauldron Pavilion is considered one of the top 3 merchant associations in the entire Central Great Realm. They can be considered a super faction, but they did not make any moves? Li Xiuhai said embarrassedly, Sir Xiao, you must be joking. The 9 Cauldron Pavilion of this ancient desolate town is nothing compared to us. Just in the northern region alone, there are 3 ranks above me. How could I be in the mood to join in on the excitement? Even if I wanted to, I could not. The last sentence was clearly directed at Xiao Chen. Li Xiuhai felt that there should be an expert behind Xiao Chen. If Xiao Chen was willing, their 9 Cauldron Pavilion was willing to form an alliance with him and investigate the situation together. Xiao Chen thought to himself, sly old fox. Then he smiled and said, Boss Li, you are too humble. That will be all. I will not send you off. Li Xiuhai turned his head back and discovered that Xiao Chen had already sent him to the courtyard without him realizing it. Li Xiuhai could not help feeling depressed. He had not gotten anything out of Xiao Chen yet. However, Li Xiuhai could only give up now. He performed a cupped fist salute and said, Sir Xiao, come over often when you have time. I'll get someone to deliver the items on this list tomorrow. Take care. After the other party left, Xiao Chen immediately withdrew his smile. The plan worked. They had finally stirred up the waters. Other than the 4 6th grade sects, there were probably many other hidden forces and powerful individuals. They all wanted to see what exactly the Heavenly Lodging Palace discovered. Given this, the Heavenly Lodging Palace no longer had any hope of monopolizing the spoils. The muddier the waters, the better, Xiao Chen thought to himself. Then he closed the door and returned to the cultivation room to prepare for his breakthrough. Since Xiao Chen intended to get involved in this mess, he needed to improve his strength further. Otherwise, he would not be sufficient before a sovereign personage. Even if an ordinary initial perfection sovereign personage came, Xiao Chen would not be a match for them. He would only be able to barely flee. If Xiao Chen did not raise his strength, he could only watch the excitement and be a bystander in this mess. 7 Apertures Cloud Breaking Pill. Xiao Chen took out the medicinal pill and entered deep thought. Given Xiao Chen's situation, even without the help of a rank 4 heavenly pill, breaking through to Holy Venerate was just a matter of time. If not for the situation changing, breaking through naturally would have been the best for Xiao Chen. However, the situation was urgent. He could not care so much. After placing the primeval heavenly pill in the spirit gathering formation below, Xiao Chen sat in the center of the formation in the air. Open! Xiao Chen gently tapped the spirit gathering formation, and the primeval heavenly pill turned into extremely pure spiritual energy, spreading throughout the entire cultivation room. Xiao Chen's hands did not stop moving, continuously pouring in primeval heavenly pills into the spirit gathering formation. After the spirit gathering formation spun 100 times and the spiritual energy in the cultivation room turned into clouds, Xiao Chen stopped pouring in primeval heavenly pills. As Xiao Chen looked at the spiritual energy above him that looked like real clouds, he sighed, how extravagant! For the sake of raising the spiritual energy in the room to the level of the Heaven Dragon Palace's profound dragon platform, Xiao Chen used a total of 100,000 primeval heavenly pills. All this was for the sake of a smooth and perfect breakthrough. Furthermore, this was just the beginning. Purple Thunder Divine Incantation. Demonic Cloud Heaven Swallowing Art. Xiao Chen circulated 2 kinds of energy at the same time. Then, he opened his mouth and directly swallowed 100,000 primeval heavenly pills. The primeval heavenly pills all turned into liquid. Xiao Chen was like a whale swallowing the sea, continuously absorbing this vast veritable essence energy. If an ordinary person were here, they would definitely faint from fright. If a star venerate absorbed such a vast amount of primeval heavenly pills, his body would explode and he would die on the spot. However, Xiaochen did not fear this. His physical body was like a bottomless pit, greedily absorbing the spiritual energy. The whirlpools formed by the purple thunder divine incantation and the demonic cloud heaven-swallowing art were like black holes in his body, continuously digesting and turning the spiritual energy into veritable essence energy. Boom! The two veritable essence energies intersected, and the primal chaos veritable essence energies spun continuously. Xiaochen sat down, and a modeled Taiji diagram appeared. Black and white yin-yang fish chased each other in the diagram. When they reached a balance, Xiaochen felt his physical body swell up slightly. He knew that he had already reached his limit. Xiaochen closed his mouth and stopped absorbing the primeval heavenly pills. After refining for a while, he opened his mouth again and swallowed the 7 apertures cloud-breaking pill. When the medicinal pill entered Xiaochen's mouth, the medicinal energy ignited in that instant. Then, it quickly exploded in a way that Xiaochen did not expect. Boom, boom. First, an intense explosion came from Xiaochen's soul pool. Following that, an even more horrifying explosion came from his 9-star primal core. Pu-ci. Xiaochen vomited a mouthful of blood. Intense pain filled his entire body. Blood flowed from his eyes, nose, mouth, and he nearly fainted in that instant. Xiaochen could not help feeling startled. I was too anxious. I was still overconfident. He thought that with so many resources, rank 4 heavenly pills, and his outstanding talent, it would be a piece of cake for him to break through the bottleneck of the holy venerate stage. It should have been a piece of cake. There should have been no need to worry. Unexpectedly, while he broke through the bottleneck, he nearly exploded to death. He could not stabilize the soul energy and veritable essence energy that continuously poured into him after advancing to holy venerate. Oh no! Just as Xiaochen calmed himself and put in all his effort, a cold snort suddenly rang out in his heart. To think that breaking through to holy venerate still requires so much effort. I must have been blind to have chosen you as my successor. Chapter 1945. At the crucial moment, the blood-soaked Dragon Emperor's lingering soul, which had not appeared for a long time, suddenly appeared. Xiaochen gently breathed out some dragon qi, and the explosive veritable essence energy and soul energy in his body immediately stabilized. Xiaochen heaved a sigh of relief. The blood-soaked Dragon Emperor was still the same as usual. Every time he appeared, he would belittle himself. Xiaochen, who was already used to this, smiled softly and said, "Senior, I have already arrived in the Divine Dragon Empire and joined the Heaven Dragon Palace." The Heaven Dragon Palace? The blood-soaked Dragon Emperor felt slightly stunned. He reacted only after a long time. Then he said in shock, "That's right. I still find it strange." "What's so strange about it?" "The Blue Dragon bloodline ceased to exist long ago. How could I join the Blue Dragon Palace?" These words sounded strangely sorrowful coming from the blood-soaked Dragon Emperor. As the strongest Dragon Emperor of the Blue Dragon bloodline, the first thing that came to his mind was that Xiaochen wanted to join the Blue Dragon Palace. By the time the blood-soaked Dragon Emperor reacted, he realized that the Blue Dragon bloodline had ceased to exist long ago. Before the blood-soaked Dragon Emperor left, the Blue Dragon bloodline still existed, even glorious. Even the blood-soaked Dragon Emperor did not know how the Blue Dragon bloodline perished. The blood-soaked Dragon Emperor had not gotten used to a divine dragon empire without a blue dragon. Xiaochen could not be bothered to check on his body's various aspects after advancing to holy venerate. He had too many questions to ask the blood-soaked Dragon Emperor. Senior once discovered a dragon city in the soaring dragon great realm. It turned out that the Black Dragon King was sealed under that dragon city. However, the seal is broken now. The faux god flame guarding the seal is reaching its limit. It told me that the Black Dragon King will reappear within 100 years. That senior seems to be your subordinate. After speaking for a long time, Xiaochen discovered that the blood-soaked Dragon Emperor was somewhat indifferent, not as attentive as he imagined. Speaking of which, Senior Blood-Soaked Dragon Emperor, why are you not shocked or worried at all? Shocked my ass? I was the one who laid the formation. Do you think I don't know how long it can last? What use is there in worrying? Trash like you, could it be that you can help me kill that black loach? The blood-soaked Dragon Emperor's words rendered Xiao Chen speechless. The blood-soaked Dragon Emperor sounded very reasonable. He could not refute them at all. After being stunned for a long time, Xiao Chen could only say softly, "Oh, to think that you did not cultivate the divine dragon body tempering art that I gave you." Suddenly, the blood-soaked Dragon Emperor discovered something. He roared angrily, "Brat, what should I say to you? Why are you not cultivating my divine dragon body tempering art? Why did you run off to cultivate the demonic cloud heaven swallowing art? Is the divine dragon body tempering art that I gave you very weak?" Actually, the reason why the blood-soaked Dragon Emperor was so angry was that Xiao Chen was like him, both taking the path of righteous and demonic dual cultivation. He wasn't really angry at Xiao Chen. He didn't know what he was angry about, but there was hatred in his heart. Xiao Chen was startled and felt a bit guilty. With his mental state, there were very few people who could make him feel like this. Only the blood-soaked Dragon Emperor could. Xiao Chen explained, showing that he had not wasted his time. "I have been cultivating the divine dragon body tempering art all this time. I have already finished cultivating the first 3 layers. I have already refined the dragon tendons, dragon bones, and dragon blood. I have also succeeded in cultivating the 4th layer. I can now bring out the divine dragon war body and the blue dragon divine wings. I intend to continue cultivating the 5th layer after I break through to the holy venerate stage." Humph! What kind of dog's hit divine dragon war body is that? When you finish cultivating all 6 layers, you will be able to defeat me. When you finish cultivating all 6 layers, you will know that the divine dragon body tempering art is just the beginning. Don't embarrass me. I feel embarrassed for you. The blood-soaked Dragon Emperor snorted coldly in disdain. Xiao Chen could tell that the blood-soaked Dragon Emperor was in a much better mood. He smiled and said, "I got it. I will focus on cultivating the divine dragon body tempering art from now on. I will definitely not let Senior down. When Senior wakes up again, you will definitely see the complete divine dragon war body." Next time? The blood-soaked Dragon Emperor's voice suddenly turned incredibly gloomy. There will not be a next time. These sudden words stunned Xiao Chen. His heart sank as he asked, "What do you mean? Don't tell me that you are going to die? Without my permission, you absolutely cannot die." "Ha! I have already been dead for tens of thousands of years. Why are you so excited? Right now, I am just a strand of remnant soul. I will die sooner or later. However, I am still worried about you. You always make me worry. How are you going to revive the blue dragon bloodline in the future?" The blood-soaked Dragon Emperor's voice suddenly turned gentle. However, it made Xiao Chen feel extremely uncomfortable. Xiao Chen hoped that the blood-soaked Dragon Emperor would scold him like before. Xiao Chen clenched his right fist tightly, appearing somewhat nervous. It seemed like every time the blood-soaked Dragon Emperor woke up, the blood-soaked Dragon Emperor helped Xiao Chen, saving his life no less than 3 times. Is it because of this? Is it because the blood-soaked Dragon Emperor drained his already dwindling remnant soul to save me? Suddenly, Xiao Chen blamed himself. "Brat, don't overthink. I already said that I died a long time ago. I am just preserving the essence of my soul for the sake of passing on the inheritance." The blood-soaked Dragon Emperor seemed to guess what Xiao Chen was thinking, consoling him. Xiao Chen's heart did not calm down even after a long time. Actually, he had long gotten used to the strand of remnant soul in his body. Although it rarely appeared, it gave Xiao Chen something to rely on. Unfortunately, back then, that black loach turned the entire Great Thousand Realms upside down, triggering a great war between righteous factions and demonic factions. The flames of war spread to the deities of the heavenly realm. Even the heavenly realm was affected and shattered, no longer existing. However, it still lost to me, obediently getting sealed. However, in the end I lost to time. The blood-soaked Dragon Emperor sighed. The survivor is king. In less than 100 years, that black loach will come out again. Bratbuck up. While I can still maintain my inheritance and memories, properly receive my inheritance and help me defeat that black loach again. Right after the blood-soaked dragon emperor spoke, a resplendent red light burst out from his 9-star primal core. The scarlet dragon's seal flew out and quickly crumbled, turning into beams of light that merged with Xiao Chen's physical body and soul. In that instant, a life flashed before Xiao Chen's eyes like a movie. There was beauty and elegance. There was arrogance and unparalleled arrogance. From inexperience to maturity, from the innate realm, he grew step by step. Finally, he stood at the peak of the great thousand realms, refining an immortal divine body and lighting up a supreme divine flame. He was filled with lofty aspirations and hot-bloodedness, wanting to unify the 8 great empires and establish the divine dragon dynasty, restoring the supreme hegemony of the dragon race during the Great Desolate Eon. However, the Black Dragon King appeared out of nowhere and threw the 3 realms into chaos, triggering the ultimate war between righteous factions and demonic factions. The heavenly realm shattered, and many deities fell. The structure of the entire Great Thousand Realms changed. When everything became a thing of the past, when the blood-soaked dragon emperor grew old, the final scene appeared before Xiao Chen. That was the scene before the blood-soaked dragon emperor's death. When the scene shattered, countless memories appeared in Xiao Chen's sea of consciousness. Those were the greatest treasures and inheritance that the blood-soaked dragon emperor left for him. After a long time, Xiao Chen opened his eyes. In a trance, it felt like 10,000 years had passed. So it turns out that he really died many years ago. Xiao Chen felt sad and dispirited as he recalled the few words he exchanged with the blood-soaked dragon emperor. Xiao Chen somewhat regretted being born too late. It would have been great if he could have personally seen the glory of the blood-soaked dragon emperor when he was alive. Don't worry, I will definitely revive the blue dragon bloodline and defeat that black loach for you once more. A look of determination flashed in Xiao Chen's eyes. His body emitted wisps of illusory light. Behind Xiao Chen, he was invisible to the naked eye and spiritual force. The blood-soaked dragon emperor's illusory image looked at Xiao Chen below. Then he revealed a smile. Pretty good. After feeling conflicted for such a long time, I should be able to relax. However, now, how unfortunate. How unfortunate. I really cannot see you successfully practice the divine dragon body tempering art. I have no more regrets in this life, than... Whoosh! The wisps of light scattered, and the blood-soaked dragon emperor's illusory image vanished completely. Chapter 1946. After obtaining the blood-soaked dragon emperor's inheritance, many memories appeared in Xiao Chen's mind. There were all sorts of secrets about the dragon race, the various mysteries of the blue dragon race, and the various mysteries of the dragon race's martial techniques. All sorts of information gathered into a vast sea before him. After calming down, Xiao Chen compressed and sealed these precious memories. When he wanted to use them, he could just go and retrieve them at any time. Otherwise, he would not be able to digest them all at once, and his soul pool would explode. Xiao Chen selectively absorbed all the secrets of the blue dragon race and some of the blood-soaked dragon emperor's special experiences back then. Just this alone took Xiao Chen 2 days. After 2 days, Xiao Chen opened his eyes. He had somewhat forgotten that he had already broken through to the holy venerate stage. Without overthinking, Xiao Chen checked his soul pool. The mysterious phenomenon of stars in the sky above his soul pool had already vanished. Only 2 clumps of profound light hung high in the sky. One was like the bright moon, and the other was like the sun. However, it was still very obvious. From the blood-soaked dragon emperor's memories, Xiao Chen learned that when ordinary people broke through to the holy venerate stage, they only had 1 clump of profound light. The mysterious phenomenon of 2 clumps of profound light like Xiao Chen's was called sun and moon shining together. Aside from this, there were many other extremely strong mysterious phenomena in this realm. For example, the clear sky bright moon. An azure sky with an upside-down bright moon would appear above his soul pool. Another example was the 9 stars alignment. 9 resplendent stars of varying brightness would appear, forming a line that looked like a sword piercing through the sky. The strongest was the 9 suns proud world. 9 clumps of profound light would look like suns hovering in the sky, exuding a might that could destroy the world. With all these mysterious phenomena, their holy venerate wills would become even stronger. When cultivated to a high level, these mysterious phenomena could also materialize and affect the real world, dealing great damage. The Great Thousand Realms are truly filled with wonders, Xiaochen muttered to himself. With the blood-soaked Dragon Emperor's memories, he realized that he had been a frog in a well, unable to see the world. This world was much larger than he imagined. The blood-soaked Dragon Emperor had been dead for so many years. Xiaochen still did not know what changes had happened to him. However, in terms of mysterious phenomena, his sun and moon shine together was also top-notch, comparable to the legendary 9 suns. With a thought, Xiaochen activated his holy venerate will. 2 clumps of light immediately appeared in the air. The powerful will spread in all directions. Xiaochen revealed a satisfied expression. He felt that his will was significantly stronger than that of the other star venerates. In the past, people always used their holy venerate wills to bully Xiaochen's star venerate. In the future, he no longer had to fear them. Once one reached the holy venerate realm, one would have to officially start cultivating soul energy. There were many secret manuals for cultivating soul energy in the blood-soaked Dragon Emperor's memories. Xiaochen did not know how to choose. Xiaochen wanted to familiarize himself with the first stage of the holy venerate realm before making a decision. It is time to properly cultivate the divine dragon body tempering art. The blood-soaked Dragon Emperor was right. The true divine dragon war body truly began only after Xiaochen cultivated all 6 layers of the divine dragon body tempering art. Whether Xiaochen admitted it or not, he had indeed underestimated the divine dragon body tempering art in the past. In that case, Xiaochen would charge to the 5th layer in one go. Now that he did not lack any resources and advanced to the holy venerate realm, he could not delay any longer. Xiaochen stood up and headed for the 9 Cauldron Pavilion. Li Xiuhai personally received Xiaochen. When he saw Xiaochen, he showed a startled expression. Then he smiled and said, "Congratulations, Sir Xiao, on advancing to the holy venerate realm. Although you have the help of the 7 aperture cloud breaking pill, breaking through is not easy." Unexpectedly, Sir Xiao managed to break through in 2 days. This is truly admirable. What Li Xiuhai said was true. Regular people would need at least half a month to break through, and their chances of breaking through would be only 50%. Xiaochen advancing to the holy venerate realm so quickly indeed shocked Li Xiuhai. This Xiaochen before Li Xiuhai became increasingly unfathomable. Xiaochen took out a list and handed it to Li Xiuhai. "If the 9 Cauldron Pavilion has any stock on the list, I want them all. If not, help me get some substitutes." Bones of a sovereign personage ferocious beast, Dao bone pill, 10,000-year-old heavenly blood grass. What is Sir Zhao's vital qi for cultivating a body tempering technique? Li Xiuhai looked at Xiaochen suspiciously, finding this somewhat strange. Could Xiaochen be a vital qi cultivator? If that was the case, then Xiaochen's strength could no longer be judged by the standard of an early-stage holy venerate. Xiaochen smiled calmly and said, "There is no harm in telling you. 50 cauldron force. If you can get me these resources, breaking through to 60 cauldron force will be easy." 50 cauldron force. Li Xiuhai's heart churned. As he sized up Xiaochen again, he felt some fear. Even with Li Xiuhai's peak holy venerate cultivation, he would find it hard to keep Xiaochen here. No wonder Xiaochen did not care about him from the start. It turned out that Xiaochen did not care about him at all. Without a sovereign personage, no one would be able to suppress this person before him. Xiaochen was a holy venerate with 50 cauldron force. Even in the entire northern region, it would be hard to find a young outstanding talent who could cultivate both at the same time. Li Xiuhai was stunned for a while. Then he smiled widely and said, Sir Xiaoqun, you are really unfathomable. Get these resources for Sir Xiaoqun according to the highest standards. If our store does not have them, go to the other stores to purchase them. Do not delay them. Li Xiuhai called someone over and gave the instructions for Xiaoqun. After waiting for some time, Li Xiuhai probed, Sir Xiaoqun, do you know that the 4 rank 6 sects and the Heavenly Lodging Palace had several probing clashes in Desolate God Valley in the past 2 days? There were also several loose cultivators who tried to force their way in. However, the sovereign personage experts of the Heavenly Lodging Palace directly killed them. Finding this strange, Xiaoqun asked, did they fight with sovereign personages? Li Xiuhai shook his head and replied, not yet. Once sovereign personages fight, the matter will blow up. However, the Heavenly Lodging Palace's actions have slowed down due to the harassment from the various parties. After all, the 4 rank 6 sects are all here, and the Heavenly Lodging Palace is only a branch. They do not dare to underestimate them. Xiaoqun frowned and said, that means that the Heavenly Lodging Palace still has no results on what they discovered. Not yet. The people who tried to force their way in all died miserable deaths. The Heavenly Lodging Palace showed no mercy, intimidating a group of people. However, they probably will not be able to intimidate them for long. If this drags on for a few more days and the news spreads, the Heavenly Lodging Palace's people will not be able to sit still. Xiaoqun smiled and said, Boss Li, you really care about this matter. Are you not planning to interfere? I have the heart, but I am powerless, Li Xiuhai said with a smile that did not reach his eyes, repeating his previous answer. 1 hour later, Xiaoqun delivered all the resources he wanted. After paying for the primeval heavenly pills at a 30% discount, Li Xiuhai personally sent Xiaoqun to the door. Before leaving, he suddenly called out to Xiaoqun, I received some news, but I don't know if I should say it or not. Speak. Li Xiuhai appeared put on the spot as he said, it is the grandson of a Heavenly Lodging Palace elder with authority. Something happened to Hua Qingyun in ancient desolate town. This fellow is rather famous in our ancient desolate town. Of course, it is infamy. I heard that there has been no news of him for several days already. Even his 2-star war chariot disappeared. I heard that he disappeared when he met up with the Heavenly Lodging Palace's people. This matter could be major or minor. If something really happened to him, given that Hua Qingyun's grandfather is a divine Vane Realm sovereign emperor, the entire Heavenly Lodging Palace branch would suffer a calamity in his rage. Xiaoqun glanced at Li Xiuhai. When their gazes met, Li Xiuhai's face filled with a smile, but he did not shrink back. He was truly a smiling tiger. Xiaoqun snorted coldly in his heart. Then he said calmly, aside from the purple gold dragon emperor, there are 5 other dragon kings in the divine dragon empire. Boss Li, do you know about them? I do. The White Dragon King, Silver Dragon King, Red Dragon King, Blue Dragon King, and Green Dragon King. Each of them is an overlord of a region in the Great Thousand Realms. Why did young Master Xiao suddenly mention this? What do you mean? Li Xiuhai asked somewhat nervously, feeling confused by Xiaoqun's actions. Xiaoqun glanced at the 9 cauldron pavilion behind Li Xiuhai. Then he continued, which is scarier, the Dragon King's rage or a sovereign emperor's rage? Naturally, the Dragon King's rage. Xiaoqun revealed a smile as he patted Li Xiuhai's shoulder. You are just an insignificant person, not even worth a fart in the 9 cauldron pavilion. There are some things that you cannot ask about, so don't ask about them. Do you hear me? Xiaoqun's tone was calm, but cold sweat trickled down Li Xiuhai's forehead for some reason. He smiled and said, Young Master Xiao is right. I know what to do. I wonder who spread the fake news. This is getting more and more overboard. Xiaoqun smiled and said, Did I say anything? Businessmen like to take chances and take risks. This is a good thing. However, sometimes don't be too smart. Learn from Mr. Bai. In the future, when I come to the 9 cauldron pavilion, don't appear. Let Mr. Bai receive me. Damn it. Li Xiuhai cursed in his heart. He knew that he thought himself smart and ended up offending Xiaoqun. Li Xiuhai immediately felt anxious. Young Master Xiao, listen to me. However, Xiaochen had already turned around, ignoring Li Xiuhai. As Li Xiuhai looked at Xiaochen's back, he felt regret. What should I do? Chapter 1947. After returning to the courtyard, Xiaochen did not delay and continued his closed-door cultivation. Li Xiuhai's words made Xiaochen feel some urgency. In a few days, the heavenly lodging palace would not be able to withstand the pressure of the 4 rank 6 sections. Xiaochen needed to break through quickly. He had to break through to the divine dragon body tempering art's 5th layer. After arriving at the closed-door cultivation room, Xiaochen took out the heavenly blood grass, Dao bone pills, and other precious resources for cultivating the body. It was really good to be rich. One could buy any resource they wanted at any time. These things that Xiaochen did not even dare to think about in the past were easily obtainable to him, who had 5 million primeval heavenly pills. However, in the past few days, Xiaochen had spent only 2 million primeval heavenly pills. However, the results were all worth it. Not only did Xiaochen break through to the Holy Venerate stage, but he also obtained so many resources for cultivating the body. The Tyrant Saber would improve further. Xiaochen had already cultivated the divine dragon body tempering art to the 4th layer for a long time. Making breakthroughs in the body were even more difficult than advancing his cultivation. However, Xiaochen had so many resources and the experience he obtained from the blood-soaked Dragon Emperor. Breaking through was not difficult. It just depended on how much time he spent. While Xiaochen and the others made use of every second to cultivate, the upper echelon of the Heavenly Lodging Palace branch was in a terrible fix, feeling frustrated and uneasy. Damn it! Who exactly spread the news? One of the 2 people in charge of the Heavenly Lodging Palace branch, Elder Su Feng, a great perfection sovereign personage, looked into the distance at the war chariots and warships of the various rank 6 sections. He felt like there was a dagger at his back against these rank 6 sex troops. He could not make up his mind to explore with all his might. This great fortuitous encounter originally belonged to the Heavenly Lodging Palace branch. However, given the situation, he had no choice but to give it up. Damn it! If I find out who is behind this, I will make him die a horrible death. Su Feng's rage silenced the other Heavenly Lodging Palace experts. After calming down, Su Feng asked, "Has young Master Huan not appeared yet?" Reporting to Elder Su, there is still no news of young Master Hua. No one in ancient desolate town saw him, someone whispered. Another piece of bad news. Su Feng said in a low voice, "You only know how to cause trouble for me. No wonder you were exiled by the headquarters. You're a jinx." Although Su Feng felt upset, he did not dare to speak too harshly. He said after some thought, given young Master Hua's background, no one would dare to truly threaten him. Go and tell the ruling sword gates Li Rong that I want to meet them. Elder, are you going to, since we can't keep it to ourselves, let's explore it together and pull back our forces. Humph, all of you think that I've found some delicious meat. Let's see how you all die when we really go in. The anger in Su Feng's heart was completely reflected on his face. All sorts of troubles had finally made him choose to take this opportunity for himself. 3 days later, inside a courtyard in ancient desolate town, boom! A streak of fiery light soared into the sky, forming a terrifying red fire dragon that circled above the courtyard, roaring furiously. The flames were almost tangible, spewing out terrifying dragon breaths that burned the clouds in the sky. Murong Yen finally broke through. Murong Yen descended from the sky, accompanied by a fierce flame. His aura blazed like fireworks. The flames contained horrifying energy, looking like they could erupt at any moment. Murong Yen landed in an empty space in the courtyard and said, "My cultivation finally reached peak middle stage Holy Venerate, and my flame cloud art broke through to the 9th layer. Most importantly, I finally comprehended the mysteries of my Red Dragon Palace's forbidden technique, the blood-devouring dragon fist." Just at this moment, thousands of golden strands of dragon chi burst out in the sky, condensing into a light. This light looked very solid as it appeared above the courtyard. A dragon might containing the aura of a ruler spread out, making that light even more piercing. No one dared to look directly at it. This fellow, Wei Hongfei, improved significantly as well. When Murong Yen saw Wei Hongfei in the air, he withdrew his aura and said softly, "Not bad. Murong Yen, I feel that your strength has increased by at least 30%. Wei Hongfei, who was wearing his battle armor, landed on Murong Yen and said calmly, "Not bad. Wind, listen to my call." The two, who were competing in the dark, quickly turned their heads to look. Wind and clouds gathered where Situ Changfeng stood. It was like the entire sky obeyed his call. This served as a contrast to Situ Changfeng's outstanding independence and boundless elegance. Wei Hongfei frowned slightly. He had always felt that, aside from Shaoqin, Situ Changfeng hid his strength the deepest. Seeing the two's gazes, Situ Changfeng smiled faintly and slowly drifted down, seeming to merge completely with the wind. His landing posture was boundlessly graceful, not like he had landed. It was more like an omnipresent breeze was respectfully inviting him to come down. Soon, Duan Fei and Lu Yun came out as well. The two of them had improved. These people all had divine dragon bloodlines and were outstanding talents of the same generation. Now that they had all improved, they gathered together and stirred up a storm. "I wonder how much improvement Shaoqin has made," Situ Changfeng said softly. Situ Changfeng said softly. The gazes of the others immediately fell on the cultivation room where Shaoqin was cultivating. Without a doubt, Shaoqin would forever be an unfathomable existence. They always thought that they had figured out Shaoqin's limits. However, when the clouds scattered, they discovered that it was just the tip of the iceberg. When they looked up, there was still a dense fog. The deeper they came into contact with him, the more unfathomable and unfathomable he became. Inside the cultivation room, Kasi, crisp sounds rang out. Shaoqin's bones rumbled like thunder, giving off continuous explosions. After Shaoqin broke through to the Divine Dragon Body Tempering Art's 5th layer and executed the Divine Dragon War Body, his body looked like this, swelling up. Shaoqin's dragon might merged with his physical body, and a pair of blue dragon divine wings spread out behind him. Shaoqin looked mighty without getting angry, like a humanoid true dragon returning from the great desolate Aeon. When Shaoqin glared, he inspired fear in others. Senior Bloodclad is right. This divine dragon war body is still far from being complete. Shaoqin's bones wriggled, slowly recovering with a thought from Shaoqin. When Shaoqin completely recovered, that terrifying might and pressure slowly faded away. How terrifying! That was earlier. In the courtyard, Wei Hongfei and the others showed somewhat grave expressions. Earlier, Shaoqin's expression had changed. In that moment earlier, a might that made their hearts tremble erupted from the cultivation room where Shaoqin was. The pressure on their bodies multiplied. Fortunately, this might and pressure only lasted for a moment before vanishing. Under their gazes, a familiar figure slowly walked out of the quiet room. It was unexpected. Unexpectedly, Shaoqin, who came out of closed-door cultivation, did not show the terrifying mysterious phenomenon that the group expected. He just walked out calmly. If not for the group feeling that terrifying might and pressure earlier, they would not have been able to tell that Shaoqin made a breakthrough. After not seeing you for a few days, everyone's strength has improved to a delightful degree. Congratulations. As Shaoqin looked at the group, he could tell with one glance that they had improved. Among them, Situ Changfeng improved the most. Murong Yen and Wei Hongfei were about the same, followed by Duan Fei and Lu Yun. Wei Hongfei and the others smiled bitterly in their hearts. Compared to you, our improvements are useless. Their joy was completely diluted. Murong Yen said embarrassedly, "I say, Shaoqin, can you not give us a blow? The longer I interact with you, the less confident I am. I am an outstanding talent with the most potential in the future of the Red Dragon bloodline." Situ Changfeng smiled and said, "Shaoqin, congratulations. When are we going to depart?" "Wait for my saber." "Saber." Situ Changfeng and the others exchanged looks, feeling confused. Among the refiners in the depths of the courtyard, Old Yun walked out in a disheveled manner. There were dark circles under his eyes, and he looked fatigued. He did not look like a rank 4 grandmaster at all. Only his eyes were sparkling with excitement. Ha! This old man finally succeeded. In less than half a year, I will definitely advance to rank 5 grandmaster. Old Yun rejoiced. He walked over with large strides and handed the tyrant saber to Xiao Chen. Just as Xiao Chen was about to draw the saber to verify it, Old Yun grabbed Xiao Chen's wrist. When a new saber is drawn, it needs to see blood. Be careful. Right now, this saber already has the might of an inferior grade soul tool. I already helped you infuse the Grand E Divine Lightning into it. I already helped you activate the strand of inherited spirit that you wanted. Old Yun held Xiao Chen's hand, preventing him from drawing the saber. Then he looked at Xiao Chen and said, "This saber is much scarier than you imagine." This old man nearly fell for it. You have to take care of yourself. Don't get yourself killed. Otherwise, this old man will become a sinner for all eternity. When Murong Yen and the others saw Senior Yun's incredibly grave expression, they were startled. What exactly happened to this saber? Chapter 1948. Seeing Old Yun's cautious expression, Xiao Chen, who was holding the tyrant saber, did not choose to draw it in the end. He could already sense that the saber in his hand was no longer what it was in the past. The instant Xiao Chen grasped the saber's hilt, a grave killing qi and boundless surging energy surged out in his heart. It was like a volcano waiting to erupt. The moment it was drawn, it would erupt. Senior Yun looked at Xiao Chen and said, "This saber has been in the world for tens of thousands of years already, not appearing for more than 8,000 years. It was once of the highest quality, even surpassing spirit weapons and reaching the level of a divine weapon of the heavenly realm. However, as time passed, it became covered in dust, causing its quality to decline. However, that tyrannical and heartless soul never faded away. It awakened, revived, erupted, and climbed to the peak again. Although I made the soul in your saber reappear today, I also successfully infused a strand of Grand E Profound Lightning into it. This might be an opportunity for this saber." Xiao Chen said softly, "The Grand E Profound Lightning is born in the Heavenly Tao and contains the supreme principles of the Heavenly Tao." Does Senior Yun mean that the supreme principles contained in the Grand E Profound Lightning might be able to change some of the Tyrant Saber's origins? That's right. However, how to choose and where to go depends on you. The existence of this saber is a taboo in itself. The Heavenly Tao rejects it, which is why it is so ominous. However, now you infused a Grand E Profound Lightning into it. This is actually quite contradictory. Senior Yun smiled and said, "Because of this old man gained great comprehension during this refinement. My family name is Yun, and my name is Tion. If you need any help in the future, you can contact me through the Heavenly Alliance." The Heavenly Alliance? Lu Ruyun and the others revealed strange expressions. It seemed like they had not heard of this organization before. Xiao Chen nodded and said, "Definitely. Goodbye." Senior Yun performed a cupped fist salute and left with an excited expression. Wei Hongfei asked, finding this strange, "Xiao Chen, you know about the Heavenly Alliance?" Xiao Chen nodded slightly to indicate that he knew. Based on the blood-soaked Dragon Emperor's memories, Xiao Chen knew that this was an extremely ancient organization. Due to its high threshold, it normally kept a low profile, so few people knew about it. The Heavenly Alliance was made up of blacksmiths, alchemists, swordsmiths, formation masters, appraisers, geomasters, and other grandmasters who were not martial cultivators. The threshold was very high. One had to be at least a first-level Supreme Power Master to join the Heaven Alliance. It was even to the extent that the Heavenly Alliance determined what a Grandmaster was. For example, an alchemist could only be considered a Grandmaster if he could refine the primeval heavenly pill. This was the Heavenly Alliance's rule. Without reaching a certain level of strength, it was impossible to understand this organization. After a certain period of time, they would hear of this organization, and they would often come into contact with it. If ordinary people wanted to come into contact with the Heavenly Alliance's members, they could only rely on a third faction. Such a faction would normally be a merchant association. In the past few years, the merchant associations had grown closer to the Heavenly Alliance. Rumor had it that the peak merchant associations were even members of the Heavenly Alliance, responsible for providing resources and venues. After watching Senior Yun leave, Xiao Chen's group set off for Desolate God Valley. Sir Xiao. Sir Xiao. Just at this moment, a hurried shout stopped Xiao Chen's group, who was about to turn around. It was Li Xiuhai rushing over. However, he was not alone. Aside from him, there was also the appraiser Noble Clan's Master Bai and a group of middle-aged men. The Nine Cauldron Pavilion's boss? What is he here for? Wei Hongfei asked, feeling suspicious. Xiao Chen teased, Boss Li, your timing is really coincidental. Li Xiuhai smiled abashedly and said, Sir Xiao, you jest. Seeing that Xiao Chen was still willing to pay attention to him, Li Xiuhai heaved a sigh of relief. He said softly, Sir Xiao, I was in the wrong the previous time. This time, Master Bai and I are here to make up for it. These people are the blacksmiths and formation masters of my Nine Cauldron Pavilion. They know a lot about the heaven-suspending war chariot. The core formation cannot be completely changed, but changing its appearance and making some changes is something that can be done quickly. When Wei Hongfei and the others saw such a scene, they felt inexplicably shocked. Why did the Nine Cauldron Pavilion's boss look like he was trying to curry favor with Xiao Chen? What was going on? This stunned the group. These people were very familiar with Xiao Chen, so they wondered if Xiao Chen had some hidden identity that they did not know. Master Bai said, Young Master Xiao, this old man can guarantee that these people are trustworthy. Li Xiuhai looked at Xiao Chen somewhat nervously, afraid that Xiao Chen would not be willing to accept this favor. Xiao Chen entered deep thought. It looks like this Li Xiuhai does want to mend their relationship. However, there is no need for him to move this war chariot. There are still people inside. Hua Qingyun has been locked inside all this time. Xiao Chen said indifferently, I appreciate your kind intentions. In the future, if there is any business, I will still take care of Boss Li. That will be all then. Li Xiuhai still wanted to say something, but Master Bai stopped him. Young Master Xiao, are you going to Desolate God Valley? Xiao Chen did not avoid the topic. He nodded and said, Since a fortuitous encounter appeared, we naturally have to fight for it. Most of the adventurers in ancient Desolate Town have already gone there, right? Master Bai smiled and said, It's far more than most. 3 days ago, the Heavenly Lodging Palace gave up on the seal and worked with the various rank 6 sects to explore. Nearly all the cultivators with some strength in ancient Desolate Town rushed over. Did you discover what it is? I'm not sure. The information is still chaotic, and it is hard to tell if it is real or fake. I still have to see it for myself to verify it. Master Bai performed a cupped fist salute and said, I will not disturb young Master Zhao's group any further. If there are any gains, feel free to come to our Nine Cauldron Pavilion for a drink. Goodbye. After sending off the 2-star war chariot with his eyes, Li Xiuhai felt somewhat disappointed and frustrated. He sighed, This person still has not forgiven me. Why did I take the risk? I fancied myself clever, thinking that I could use this to figure out the other party's true origins. Master Bai consoled, Don't overthink. It is already pretty good that you did not try to threaten him with this. No matter where this person came from, the aura that he gives me is already comparable to that of some sovereign personages. Just because of this, we cannot pry into him. We just need to befriend him. What about me? Don't worry. He still does not care about you. Given his boldness, he will not even remember you after this trip, much less take revenge on you. Don't even think about it, Master Bai said indifferently before turning to leave. Mr. Bai said faintly and turned around to leave. However, Master Bai already made up his mind to hand over Xiao Chen's information. In the future, when the Bai clan saw him, they would treat him well. As long as such a person was given an opportunity, he would definitely achieve great things in the future. Inside the war chariot, Murong Yen could not hold back his curiosity. He looked at Xiao Chen and asked, Xiao Chen, Why is that Li Xiuhai so obedient to you? It was not just Murong Yen. The others showed curious expressions as well, wanting to know the answer. Xiao Chen answered honestly, there are no secrets to it. He cannot figure me out, but I can figure him out. Since he wants to gain benefits from me, naturally, he has to be careful and cautious. Such a person is very opportunistic. He has been at the bottom of the 9-cauldron pavilion for too long and does not want to miss out on any opportunities. He might have offended someone that he cannot afford to offend in the past. His weakness is very obvious. That's it? In that case, I know how to do it next time as well, Murong Yen said with a smile. This was a very simple principle. However, Wei Hongfei and the others were not like Murong Yen. After trying to figure it out, they found it extremely difficult. Only Lu Ruyun's heart was as clear as a mirror. Even if the others understood this principle, without Xiao Chen's aura, it would be difficult for them to succeed. She couldn't help but be extremely curious in her heart. What exactly had happened to Xiao Chen for him to always be so calm, composed, and unperturbed in the face of danger to form such a powerful aura? However, there was no way for her to ask. Naturally, Xiao Chen would not tell her. This would probably trouble Lu Ruyun for a long time. We're here. The 2-star war chariot moved very fast. In less than half a day after entering Desolate God Valley, it overtook many cultivators and arrived at the mysterious place sealed off by the Heavenly Lodging Palace. It should be nearby. Wei Hongfei pointed in the war chariot to the front, where strong winds blew endlessly. The few of them could clearly feel that there were many powerful auras gathering in front of the scarlet sand. They did not know how many cultivators had gathered here from all directions. Go through it, Xiao Chen said softly. Then, Lu Ruyun controlled the war chariot and turned it into a beam of flowing light, shooting forward. After a while, the few people traveling through the scarlet sand suddenly saw something light up before them. They were all stunned by the scene in front of them. What appeared before them was a vast and ancient city. The marks of time lingered in it, but the city was intact, without any damage at all. In the harsh environment of Desolate God Valley, where ferocious beasts roamed freely, this was extremely incredible. A mysterious aura spread around the city, blowing away the endless scarlet sand that covered Desolate God Valley all year round. This gave everyone a feeling of a glimmer of hope at the end of the tunnel, suddenly enlightening them. In the previous moment, the group's vision had been filled with hazy scarlet sand. In the next moment, their eyes lit up and a city appeared like magic. This is the secret that the Heavenly Lodging Palace sealed off? Wei Hongfei exclaimed in shock. How can such a complete city appear in Desolate God Valley? If it existed, people would have discovered it long ago. There have never been any rumors of it before. A hallucination. It must be a hallucination. Murong Yen rubbed his eyes, not daring to believe what he saw. Logically speaking, there was nothing strange about a city. However, it was impossible for such a thing to exist in Desolate God Valley. It was like seeing a floating beach in the sea. The most shocking thing was the aura that this city gave off. It was extremely ancient, filled with the marks left behind by time. Sidu Changfeng said sullenly, "It might not be impossible. Don't forget the origin of this Desolate God Valley. The last great war between the righteous and demonic factions." During the previous great war between the righteous factions and demonic factions, it involved the powerhouses of the heavenly realm, resulting in the destruction of the heavenly realm and the fall of many true gods. This Desolate God Valley is said to be a land of the fallen, where the corpses of deities are buried. Lu Ruyun nodded and said, "I heard my father say that after one becomes a true god, one can materialize a small world into a nation, a world of its own. A strong true god can build a city in his own divine kingdom and bring in his followers, just like how the Buddhists worship believers. Perhaps a certain deity's corpse could not withstand the corrosion of time and completely rotted away. After the corpse disappeared, the divine kingdom was exposed, leaving behind such a city." Xiao Chen looked at the city in front. After he came out of the cabin, he remained silent, completely shocked by the scene before him. Through the memories that the blood-soaked Dragon Emperor left behind, Xiao Chen soon learned the origins of this city. This was the symbol of a true god, the symbol of the peak of the martial Tao, the dream of every cultivator. Youth, dreams, hot-bloodedness, and pride. Which cultivator on the path of cultivation did not have such a city in their heart? However, even a true god could fall. Their withered bones could not withstand the passage of time. A powerful true god, a peak immortal realm expert, left behind only a city after millions of years. That's not right. It is not that time left behind a city. It is time that snatched away my city. Chapter 1949. It was not time that left behind a city. It was time that was merciless, snatching away my city. No wonder the heavenly lodging palace wanted to seal off the news. A city left behind by a martial god. I really can't imagine what kind of vast, fortuitous encounter there is in there. If the people of the heavenly lodging palace's branch monopolize it, Wei Hongfei said softly as a fervent light flashed in his eyes. Only two words echoed in his mind: martial god. Martial god. Martial god. It was not just Wei Hongfei. When the other adventurers saw this scene, they all had the same expression. After being stunned for a moment, they fell into a frenzy. Unlike Xiao Chen's melancholy, the others did not think too much. Only one word appeared in their minds: fortuitous encounter. Murong Yen smiled and said, "Xiao Chen, why are you in a daze? Look, the others have already entered. Shouldn't we go in as well? Look at the cultivators rushing in from all directions. If we are any later, there won't even be scraps left for us." Xiao Chen recovered his wits and said calmly, "There's no rush. If it were so easy to obtain fortuitous encounters, the heavenly lodging palace would have made a move long ago. There would be no need to wait until now. The 6 of us will split into 3 groups. After patrolling the city once, we will rendezvous here." Sidu Changfeng approved of Xiao Chen's cautiousness. Although we have to make every second count before fortuitous encounters, we know nothing about this ancient city. If we lose our lives, no matter how great the fortuitous encounter is, it will be useless. Wei Hongfei nodded and said, "I'll team up with Duan Fei. We'll go south." Sidu Changfeng smiled and said, "In that case, I'll team up with Murong Yen." After that, only Xiao Chen and Lu Ruyun remained. They had no other choice. The group split up. Xiao Chen and Lu Ruyun headed for the north gate. The entire ancient city gave off a mysterious aura. When Xiao Chen tried to send his spiritual sense in, it was like a rock sinking into the sea. There was no reaction at all. This feeling was extremely strange. If there really was a strong barrier, it should have blocked out spiritual sense. However, Xiao Chen could not figure it out. An ancient city left by a martial god? Interesting. I was just about to leave when I actually encountered such a fortuitous encounter. Not long after Xiao Chen's group left, a group of dragon race cultivators appeared. The person who spoke was Zhong Li, whom Xiao Chen's group met in the White Dragon Palace. Lu Yunfei, who had a special body constitution, seemed quite excited as he followed beside him. However, this group was clearly not led by Zhong Li. The strongest was a golden dragon race cultivator. If Xiao Chen were here, he would not be unfamiliar with it either. I, Qin Outyen, am indeed blessed with great luck. I just obtained a fortuitous encounter and found another ancient city left by a martial god. This golden dragon race cultivator was Qin Outyen, whom Xiao Chen had beaten up in Blazing Sun Valley. It had only been a few months since they last met, and this fellow had actually grown stronger yet again. The only thing that did not change was the number of inheritance rings he had on his finger. The golden battle armor he wore was engraved with golden dragons. They were vivid and lifelike as if they were swimming. Even without a deep understanding, one could tell that the golden battle armor was extraordinary. "Let's go." Without even thinking, Qin Outyen strode forward, and the others quickly followed. The White Dragon Palace's Zhong Li was very experienced. He wanted to say something but did not say it in the end. He wanted to say that this place looked strange and that they should not enter rashly. However, seeing Qin Outyen's interest, Zhongli could not bring himself to say anything. Furthermore, they still had to rely on Qin Outyan to help them enter the city. Senior brother, do you think we will run into Xiao Chen's group? Lu Yunfei asked somewhat nervously. He felt that if Xiao Chen's group came to Desolate God Valley, they would definitely enter this city as well. Zhongli said indifferently, he better pray that I don't see him. Zhongli had just obtained a fortuitous encounter, greatly increasing his strength. He was very confident that if he ran into Xiao Chen, he would be able to squash him to death with one finger. 1 hour later, Xiao Chen, Lu Ruyun, and Sidu Changfeng met up and explained what they saw. After Sidu Changfeng heard Xiao Chen's explanation, he said sullenly, "It looks like it is as I thought. The 4 city gates each have their own mysteries. We cannot enter rashly, we have to choose carefully." Xiao Chen looked around. The east gate in front of him had faint purple qi lingering around it. He could even see a faint spiritual light with the naked eye. It looked auspicious. However, there was an unremarkable tower on the city wall. It happened to be able to suppress the luck of the entire area. The auspicious gate was countered, but the auspicious gate was not auspicious. After Xiao Chen gave a simple explanation of his opinion, Sidu Changfeng exclaimed in shock, "Xiao Chen, you have done some research on the dragon-seeking art?" Xiao Chen answered honestly, "I know a little. However, don't overthink it. This ancient city appeared out of nowhere. There is nothing mysterious about it. I believe that this is a small trick that the original owner left behind. He knew that someone would come here, so he set it up. Every time we enter a gate, there will be a different test. There is no truly auspicious gate. Everyone has to go through a test. We just need to avoid the ominous gate." Right, I have the same opinion as well. However, speaking of which, why are Brother Wei and Brother Duan not here? Sidu Changfeng asked, finding it strange. 1 hour had already passed, but the two still had not appeared. "We are here." Right after Sidu Changfeng spoke, Wei Hongfei and Duan Fei showed somewhat sullen expressions. When a group of people saw that we were dragon race cultivators, they attacked us without saying anything. Fortunately, our strength increased significantly during this period. Otherwise, we would not have been able to retreat unscathed. Wei Hongfei's expression was unsightly. Clearly, the earlier experience was not as simple as he made it out to be. That group of people seems to be observing the ancient city, just like us. They probably have accomplices. We have to be careful after we enter the city, Duan Fei analyzed. They attacked without saying anything? In that case, it looks like they are mortal enemies of the dragon race. That is good. It is better for them to expose themselves in advance than to be sneak attacked after we enter the city. The dragon race did not have many mortal enemies, but there were still many. Before they entered the city, there were already undercurrents. This was not a good sign. Let's enter through the south gate. The other 3 gates are fake auspicious and real ominous. The north gate is the true ominous gate. The west gate is very auspicious. However, it is hard to determine whether it is auspicious or ominous. The south gate is neither auspicious nor ominous. This is actually the best. After listening to what Wei Hongfei and Duan Fei saw, Xiao Chen made his choice. Alright, let's enter through the south gate then. There was no way to fly above the city, so they could only enter through the city gates. What dense spiritual energy! Xiao Chen originally thought that this was a dead city. However, after entering, he discovered that it was very different from what he imagined. The spiritual energy in this city was even denser than the spiritual energy at the profound dragon platform in the Heaven Dragon Palace. So many years have passed, and the original master died long ago. I wonder what still maintains the spiritual energy in this city? Sidu Changfeng said, feeling somewhat suspicious as he looked around. There are so many corpses. Many pairs of clearly lifeless cultivators wearing armor wandered the streets. Their flesh had already rotted away, leaving only empty skeletons wearing heavy armor. Some of them even rode skeleton horses, looking very scary. These were all cultivators who had followed the original master when he was alive. However, after they died, they existed in such a manner. This looked somewhat sorrowful. The spiritual energy was clearly abundant. However, These corpses told everyone that this was a dead city. The two seemed to contradict each other. The group had just entered the city when a group of wandering corpses charged at them. Clearly, there was no advantage in fighting with corpses. This was especially so for these corpses. They had followed the true God when they were alive, making them even more difficult to deal with after they died. Dang. 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 All sorts of attacks landed on these corpses. Their armor clanged, but the corpses remained undamaged. Murong Yen punched one of the corpses' armor. That armor gave off a clump of light, actually neutralizing most of Murong Yan's fist light. What kind of armor is this? To think that the formations in it can still operate. This development startled Murong Yen. However, the corpses surrounding him did not react much, continuing to attack him. I'll burn you all to death. Red Dragon True Flame. Murong Yen sent out a fierce sea of fire. While it looked mighty, it was useless. Xiao Chen and the others were not the only ones in a bitter battle. The many cultivators who entered from the southern city could not even take care of themselves. Many of them cried out miserably. The corpses mercilessly killed them and dismembered them on the spot. The group had just entered the ancient city, and they already met with such an obstruction. This caught them off guard. The southern gate was already so dangerous. What would the ominous gate encounter? The group did not dare to imagine. Damn! What the heck is this? Quickly go back! Quickly go back! Qin Outyen and the others ran frantically. After they entered the eastern city, they discovered a blood rain falling from the sky. When the blood rain fell, it would automatically gather and form a blood monster. After killing the blood monster, it would quickly form again. Nearly half of the cultivators who entered from the eastern gate died the instant they entered the city. What was even more horrifying was that when the blood rain landed on the body, it would corrode the veritable essence energy. When the blood rain landed on the body, it would immediately corrode large amounts of flesh, revealing white bones. The weaker cultivators could not endure this blood rain at all. The stronger cultivators could hold on for a while at first. However, when they discovered that something was wrong, their veritable essence energy could not withstand this blood rain. Zhen Yuan simply could not withstand the consumption. The east gate was simply a dead end. They could only retreat and take their time to think about it, choosing another gate to enter. However, there was also someone who slowly advanced with a calm expression amid the blood rain. That person wore white monk robes and held a string of azure beads in his hand. People continuously passed by him. They were people who could not endure the blood rain and were rushing back to the city. Great fortuitous encounters are bound to be places of great suffering. Let's see what is at the end of this path. This person wore white monk robes and had delicate features. He had a calm and serene expression. The middle finger and ring finger of this person's right hand were bent, and a string of azure Buddhist beads hung from the two fingers. The white-clad monk shouted as he performed a strange hand seal and pushed forward ferociously. Black Lotus Secret Technique, Cleansing Extermination. A light flashed, and a horrifying Buddhist might burst out from his hand. The Buddhist light burned and purified all the blood monsters charging at him, turning them into filth that spread out and could no longer reform. A lotus appeared under the white-clad monk's feet as he continued walking forward calmly. As Qin Outyen and the others rushed back, they brushed past the white-clad monk. Zhong Li looked at this person with some surprise. When Zhong Li's gaze met, he felt a deep fear, so he quickly looked away. Where did this monk come from? Why is he so powerful? Why does that black lotus under his feet seem somewhat familiar? Chapter 1950. Good or bad luck was hard to determine, so one could not make a rash decision. Naturally, Xiao Chen understood this principle. If he were alone, he might have chosen the ominous gate as well. Those who were confident in their own strength would not be afraid of any danger. A place of great suffering would definitely have great fortuitous encounters. However, everyone was a team in this adventure. Since they were in a team, they had to consider the entire team. They had to integrate themselves into the team, becoming one with the entire team. At this moment, the team was in danger. Facing these damned servants gave them an incredible headache. Xiao Qin, are we going to form the 4 divisions formation and charge out? Wei Hongfei saw many cultivators working together to form a formation, not wanting to fight, as they charged forward. Xiao Qin shook his head. The Divine Dragon 4 divisions formation was a trump card. There was no need to take it out so soon. Formations drained a lot of soul energy. The Divine Dragon 4 divisions formation could not be formed at any time. The South Gate was neither auspicious nor ominous. It was rather stable, so it should not be so difficult. There must be some detail that I missed. Bang! Bang! Vital chi surged as Xiao Qin punched. Each punch contained 60 cauldron force. However, such a great force could only push back these damned servants. The armor on their bodies negated too much of the energy. What kind of armor is this? Even Xiao Qin felt tempted when he saw it. He wanted to get a set for himself. It was nearly as good as the dragon-patterned battle suit that he obtained from Qin Outyin. The difficulty lay in the armor. More accurately, it was the formations in the armor. No matter what kind of formation it was, it required energy to activate it. These damned servants had no intelligence, only combat instinct. They should not be able to activate the formations in the armor. In that case, who was maintaining the formations in the armor? Murong Yen, protect me. Got it. Murong Yen shouted and threw a few punches. Then he shouted at those damned servants, "Scram!" Murong Yen charged over to Xiao Chen's surroundings, helping him block the damned servants charging over. With Murong Yen protecting him, Xiao Chen sat cross-legged and closed his eyes, continuously spreading out his soul energy. Like a rock sinking into the sea, there was no reaction at all. However, he did not give up. He continuously drained his soul energy, doing his best to sense the fluctuations in space. I see it. After a short while, Xiao Chen's efforts finally paid off. His soul power sensed a mysterious energy source at the center of the ancient city. The unknown energy source emitted countless strands of soul power, constantly transmitting energy into the armor of these death attendants. It helped them maintain the operation of the array formation in the armor. Its soul power wasn't strong, but its penetrative power was extremely terrifying. I have an idea. Xiao Chen opened his eyes and said loudly, "Everyone, gather here. Let's stack our Dao might together." Although they did not know why Xiao Chen said those words, they did not ask him why. One by one, they quickly withdrew and landed around Xiao Chen. "Everyone listen to me. Everyone, spread out your Dao might to a radius of 1,000 meters. Just 1,000 meters, no more and no less." Xiao Chen's eyes flashed with confidence, and he said in a deep voice, "I found a way to deal with these Deadpool." Murong Yen smiled and said, "I'll go first. Flame Dao, heed my call." Right after Murong Yen spoke, the Dao disc behind him gathered a spark and continuously rose. In the blink of an eye, it turned into a straight line. The Flame Dao's Dao might spread out, no more and no less, no more and no less, 1 kilometer. Wind Great Dao. Light Great Dao. Layers of Dao might layered over each other, forming a horrifying field within 1 kilometer of Xiao Chen and the others. Saber Great Dao, Thunder Saber Dao. Xiao Chen shouted, and the 2 Dao discs condensed into 1 point. Then, the Great Perfection Dao might of fire and lightning surged out. Boom! Instantly, a space similar to a Dao domain formed within 1 kilometer, immediately isolating the thousands of strands of soul energy coming from the unknown energy source. Dao domain was a strong field formed when one cultivated great Dao energy to a certain level. Xiao Chen had seen the Heaven Dragon Palace's elder Tian Yun execute it before and had a certain understanding of its might. Hence, he thought of this method. Although the layered Dao might of the group could not compare to a true Dao domain, it was more than enough to block those strands of soul energy with strong penetrative power. "Lu Riyun Duan Fei, quickly make your move," Xiao Chen said softly. Then, the 2 who did not use their Dao might immediately made their move. Falling leaves filling the sky. Lu Riyun shouted and drew the short saber in her hand. A strong wind blew, and the falling leaves containing saber intent danced around. As these falling leaves covered a large area, the armors of the death servants within 1 kilometer fell like paper. Success, Lu Ruyun said joyfully. She continuously brandished the short saber in her hand, sending out strands of saber chi. The death servants within 1 kilometer turned into skeletons, shattering on the ground. Xiaochen, you are really something, Murong Yen exclaimed joyfully. Xiaochen showed a calm expression as he said, "It's not over yet. Use your strength at the same time and expand the Dao Might tenfold." Alright. Boom! When the Dao Might's range expanded to 10 kilometers, the many cultivators enveloped by the Dao Might felt not only the pressure from the Dao Might, but they also discovered that the armor of the death servants shattered upon contact. They also discovered that the battle armor of the death servants, which was very troublesome to deal with, would shatter upon touch. They immediately rejoiced. The group could not maintain this for long. After a while, the Dao Might shrank and returned to the bodies of Xiao Qin and the others. However, most of the death servants on the street died in a short time. Many thanks to our friends from the Divine Dragon Empire for helping us. After the cultivators who broke free expressed their gratitude, they quickly fled, afraid of getting surrounded by the death servants again. The danger was temporarily resolved. Wei Hongfei felt somewhat confused as he asked, "Xiaochen, why did you take the initiative to help the others deal with the death servants? They are our potential competitors. As long as they wanted to, they could have left the city and not died at the hands of these death servants." Xiaochen pointed to the ancient city and said, "This ancient city is so huge. We cannot explore too many places by ourselves. Furthermore, the more people we have, the more advantageous it is for us to face the strong rank 6 sects and the heavenly lodging palace. Doing what we can kill many birds with one stone." That makes sense. The explanation made the others' eyes light up, feeling that this was indeed the case. After this, we will split up and explore. If there are any major discoveries, send a message. As long as the core disciple identity cards of the Dragon's Gate's branch palaces were unlocked, they could communicate with each other. This was very convenient in this ancient city. Xiaochen could tell that such an arrangement was due to the vastness of the ancient city. Wei Hongfei and the others wanted to try their luck. Their recent increase in strength gave them the confidence to do so. "Stop right there." Xiaochen called out to Lu Ruyun and said, "Come with me." Lu Ruyun asked in dissatisfaction, "Why? You relied on me to kill those death servants earlier. If no mortal enemy of the dragon race appeared, given your strength and trump cards, I would not mind letting you roam around on your own. After all, people have to grow up eventually. However, this time, it is not up to you." Xiao Chen's forcefulness forced Lu Ruyun to follow him obediently. "Go out by yourself." With a wave of his hand, the demon blood vulture turned into a flash of scarlet light. Then, it circled around Xiaochen a few times before flying out excitedly. When Lu Ruyun saw this scene, she said angrily, "I am not even comparable to a stupid bird." "That's right. In certain aspects, you are indeed inferior." Xiaochen continued as he walked forward. The demon blood vulture's life force was much stronger than Lu Ruyun's. Defeating it would not be difficult. However, killing it would be somewhat difficult. "You?" Xiao Chen's casual words angered Lu Ruyun to no end. She gritted her teeth in anger. The ancient city was filled with fortuitous encounters of various sizes. The southern city seemed to be a place for refining pills. Many of the palaces had intact pill furnaces and sealed pill bottles. However, the death servants here were alchemists with strong soul energy when they were alive. After they died, they were even more problematic. Dealing with them was rather problematic, taking up a lot of time. An alchemic recipe. Xiao Chen's face lit up in joy. After exploring 10-odd palaces, he finally obtained a pleasant surprise. He found a jade strip on one of the death servants, which recorded the alchemic recipes of many ancient medicinal pills. After checking it out, Xiaochen carefully put it away. This thing would be very useful in the future. Xiaochen quickly come over. Someone discovered a medicinal spring here. There seems to be a pill river as well. Just at this moment, Murong Yan's voice came from the identity token. He had discovered a great fortuitous encounter. Let's go. Xiao Chen and Murong Yan did not dare to delay, rushing over. Chapter 1951. Medicinal Spring? Pill River? The southern city was littered with alchemy houses. Xiao Chen had guessed that there would be a medicinal spring or a pill river as the core of the entire southern city. Unexpectedly, someone found them so quickly. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Figures flew about in the silent southern city. Countless people leaped from roof to roof, rushing towards the medicinal spring and pill river. There were restrictions in the city that suppressed Xiao Chen's physical body. It would not be easy to rush over quickly. However, these restrictions did not suppress Xiao Chen and Lu Ruyun, who possessed the dragon race bloodline, as much as ordinary cultivators did. What a dense medicinal fragrance! Did someone break the barrier around the medicinal spring already? As Xiao Chen and Lu Ruyun approached, they smelled a refreshing medicinal fragrance at the same time. Their fatigue was swept away, and they felt refreshed and comfortable. Lu Ruyun exclaimed in shock. The quality of this medicinal spring is probably at least grade 8 heaven ranked. Compared to the medicinal spring in our ancestor Dragon City, it is already equal. Heaven ranked was the highest grade of many medicinal pills, spirit veins, cultivation techniques, magic skills, and secret techniques in the Great Thousand Realms. For example, heaven ranked medicinal pills, heaven ranked war chariots, heaven ranked spirit veins, heaven ranked secret techniques, and so on. Grade 8 heaven ranked was second only to grade 9 heaven ranked. The two held their breaths and did not say anything as they sped up. After 15 minutes, they met up with Murong Yan, Wei Hongfei, and the others on the roof of a pavilion. After exploring for a while, they should have gained something. However, compared to the medicinal spring and pill river, they were not worth mentioning. Murong Yan pointed to the front and said, "Look." When the two looked in the direction Murong Yan pointed, they saw a vast herb garden in the distance. A spring gushed continuously in the center of the herb garden. A natural medicinal fragrance spread out in all directions, gushing endlessly. Not far below, there was a wide pill river. A viscous green liquid flowed slowly in the river. Indeed, it was a pill river and a medicinal spring. Who knew how many heaven-ranked medicinal pills were piled up in the pill river for it to reach such a horrifying level? Aside from the medicinal spring and pill river, there were many abandoned herb fields in the herb garden. Many medicinal herbs were left to rot in the soil because no one took care of them. It made people's hearts ache. Not far from the medicinal spring, there was also a towering tree. It was too far away for Xiao Chen to see clearly. From time to time, mottled spiritual mist would rise from the herb garden, obstructing one's vision and preventing them from seeing the entire herb garden. Just now, a human king blasted open a hole, and a huge amount of medicinal power leaked out. However, that hole quickly healed. Right now, everyone is waiting. No one dares to act rashly. Murong Yan had arrived earlier and understood this place better than Xiao Chen and the others. It's that person. Sovereign personage? Sovereign personages had a total of 4 stages: initial perfection, small perfection, great perfection, and peak. Sovereign personages were not like star venerates and holy venerates. Every minor cultivation realm was like a layer of heaven, an insurmountable existence. Even in ancient desolate town, sovereign personages were rare existences. Any faction would treat them with respect. In a rank 6 sect, a sovereign personage could directly become an inner sect elder. In the 4 dynasties, a sovereign personage could be conferred nobility. Xiao Chen soon discovered that the person Murong Yan mentioned was not very old, looking like a middle-aged man. This person stood upright with his hands behind his back, frowning as he looked at the herb garden. It looks like the barrier is not easy to break. Come, let's go over and take a look. As they were too far away, Xiao Chen could not figure out the barrier. So, he quickly led the group over. After a while, they arrived at the herb garden's entrance. Where did this trash come from? Do you think that just anyone can come to the herb garden's entrance? The moment Xiao Chen landed, he suffered an attack. A peak holy venerate gray-robed old man attacked him. When the gray-robed old man raised his hand, his might spread out. His veritable essence energy surged, and his aura was boundless. Xiao Chen snorted coldly. Then, he raised his hand and punched, clashing with the gray-robed old man without fear. Bang! When the fist and palm met, they were actually equal. Soon, the gray-robed old man felt that Xiao Chen's fist light was somewhat strange. The fist contained saber intent that continuously tore apart the gray-robed old man's veritable essence energy, trying to invade his body. Although the gray-robed old man's veritable essence energy was vast, it seemed that no matter how much veritable essence energy there was, it could not block this strange veritable essence energy. The gray-robed old man quickly withdrew his hand and retreated. Bush, bush, bush. The moment Xiao Chen landed, a few people stood out from behind the gray-robed old man. They did not look like they were going to let this go, wanting to continue attacking Xiao Chen. Trying to bully me with numbers? Murong Yen and the others were not willing to fall behind. They landed behind Xiao Chen one after another. Their extraordinary auras immediately put pressure on the other party. Dragon race cultivators. The gray-robed old man felt slightly startled. He quickly retreated, not daring to say anything else. Only now did Xiao Chen discover that aside from that sovereign personage, there were several other people near the herb garden's entrance. Those who could remain here were all strong teams. Otherwise, they would not be able to come down. Without strength, how could others share the loot with them? Aside from the human king, the others were in groups of 2 or 3, forming their own teams. The middle-aged sovereign personage looked indifferently at Xiao Chen's group and said softly, "We have enough people. Attack together and break the barrier. Apart from you all, Lu Yuanzong will kill anyone who dares to enter the spirit formation." Although his voice was soft, everyone within 50 kilometers could hear him clearly. Xiao Chen felt a cold killing intent, and there was a strong sense of threat in that casual tone. Only now did Xiao Chen and the others understand why this sovereign personage did not make a move. It turned out that he could not break the herb garden's barrier with his own strength. He had been waiting for a team that caught his eye. Only those who caught his eye were qualified to enter the herb garden. It had to be said that he was very domineering. However, as a sovereign personage, Xiao Chen was indeed qualified to be so tyrannical. Senior Lu is right. Senior Lu, please instruct us to attack that point at the same time. The gray-robed old man who attacked Xiao Chen earlier said in a flattering manner. Right here. Boom. Lu Yuanzong pointed with his finger, and a strand of resplendent sword chi with motes of starlight shot out. The instant the sword chi appeared, everyone near the herb garden's entrance felt their hearts tighten. The terrifying sword intent was startling. Xiao Chen entered deep thought. This casual finger strike equaled 30% of his attack power. Even a small perfection sovereign personage could not be underestimated. Pusi. When the sword chi entered the herb garden's barrier, it only left a crack that was neither large nor small. Furthermore, it quickly mended. Boom, boom, boom. After Xiao Chen and the others found out where to attack, they did not hesitate to attack. Immediately, dazzling attacks shot towards the crack Lu Yuanzong had opened. Before everyone's expectant gazes, a hole finally appeared in the herb garden's barrier. Then, it continued to spread. But in the end, the hole was only the size of a bowl, and it began to quickly close up. The crowd simply could not enter the herb garden successfully. Damn it! You bunch of trash! Seeing that so many holy venerate experts could not break the herb garden's barrier, Lu Yuanzong could not help feeling enraged. Unless one has a soul tool, there is no way to break this herb garden's barrier. Xiao Chen, who had been secretly sizing up the herb garden, suddenly spoke up. Who do you think you are? Is there a place for you to speak here? The gray-clad old man who did not get along with Xiao Chen earlier scolded, "Could it be that you are even more incredible than Senior Lu?" Xiao Chen did not get angry. He replied softly, "I do not dare. However, I am still slightly stronger than you. People who cannot even receive one punch from me are not qualified to speak." You are seeking death. The gray-clad old man roared, wanting to attack Xiao Chen again. Scram! Lu Yuanzong shouted coldly. Then, he waved his hand and knocked back the gray-clad old man. Then, he looked at Xiao Chen and asked, "You have a way to enter the herb garden?" Xiao Chen looked at the herb garden's entrance and said, "Unless one has a soul tool, no one can force their way in. I believe that Senior Lu must have tried all sorts of methods before we arrived." Lu Yuanzong's heart skipped a beat. How did Xiao Chen know? Indeed, Lu Yuanzong was the first to discover this herb garden. He had tried using his peak strike, but he could not break the barrier. He could only wait for more people to arrive before attacking together to see if there was a chance. Who knew it still did not work? Could it be that we cannot enter? Many people showed pained expressions as they looked at the herb garden within reach. The fortuitous encounter was right before them, but they could not grasp it. How could there be anything more painful than this? I said that we cannot force our way in. I did not say that we cannot enter using other methods. Xiao Chen continued when he saw everyone's expressions. Well, quickly say it. Quickly say it. If you have a method, don't hide it. That's right. The group of people immediately argued endlessly, trying to get Xiao Chen to quickly tell them the method. Only Lu Yuanzong asked calmly, "What do you want?" Xiao Chen pointed to the towering tree in the herb garden and said, "That tree belongs to me. The rest depends on your own ability." All right. Lu Yuanzong thought for a while. Then he looked at Xiao Chen and decisively agreed. Chapter 1952. Xiao Chen, are you confident? Lu Ruyun asked somewhat worriedly. Although Lu Yuanzong did not say anything, he would not end up well if he offended a sovereign personage. Don't worry. It's fine. After Xiao Chen observed the barrier of the herb garden for a long time, he confirmed that it was a formation from the blood-soaked emperor's memories. This formation was called the Essence Sealing God Locking Formation. If it were at the beginning, even a faux god would not be able to break it. However, after so many years, the might of this formation had weakened. Now, one could break it with a soul tool. Xiao Chen did have a soul tool and more than one. However, he clearly would not take it out in front of so many people. It would not be difficult to break this formation. Xiao Chen looked around and said, "Who has formation flags?" Me some. Damn. I thought that you were really a formation master. In the end, you don't even have formation flags. Can you do it? With one look, I can tell that he is bragging. We might as well try again. There is no need to trouble him. These words immediately incited many people's dissatisfaction. To think that Xiao Chen did not even have formation flags. Lu Yuanzong looked around and asked, "Are there any formation flags? If there are, hand them to him." Formation flags were one of the tools that formation masters used to lay formations. Ordinary cultivators only knew some simple formations and did not need tools. However, there were many people here, so there were always exceptions. After the sovereign personage spoke, Xiao Chen received 10-odd formation flags of various sizes. Including the dozens of formation flags that Xiao Chen already had, he barely had enough. When Lu Yuanzong handed the formation flags to Xiao Chen, he revealed a suspicious expression but did not say anything. Xiao Chen wiped away the spiritual mark in the formation flags and infused his spiritual sense into them. After familiarizing himself with them, he started. The main purpose of the Essence Sealing God Locking Formation was not to defend against enemies but to seal the natural essence of the world and lock down the souls of all things. It was laid here to prevent the spiritual energy of the herb garden from leaking out. After some herbs gained spirituality, it would help them stabilize their souls. As long as one understood its mysteries, it would not be too difficult to break it. As Xiao Chen continued to make hand seals, the array flags turned into rays of light and disappeared into the distant ground. Xiao Chen's spiritual sense followed the array flag and spread out on the ground. He instantly sensed a huge array formation. Spiritual light overflowed in all directions, vast and boundless. Relying on his knowledge of the formation, he avoided the streams of light and inserted the formation flags into the key nodes. After everything was done, sweat appeared on Xiao Chen's forehead. He looked at the herb garden's barrier and said, I have temporarily taken control of the formation. All you need to do is merge your quintessence with the aura of the herb garden, and you will be able to enter. Lu Yuanzong remained silent. He took a step forward and placed his hand on the spirit formation barrier. He closed his eyes and breathed in a wisp of the spiritual energy in the herb garden through the barrier. He was surprised to find that his arm had silently passed through the barrier. Success! Everyone was pleasantly surprised and cheered. However, Lu Yuanzong was not in a rush to enter. He looked at Xiao Chen and asked, How do we come out? That's right. This barrier was not forcefully broken. In that case, if they wanted to come out, wouldn't they still be restricted by Xiao Chen? In the end, a sovereign personage was more thorough and meticulous. Xiao Chen said calmly, This is an essence sealing formation. It does not affect the physical body. After we enter, we do not need to absorb too much of the herb garden's spiritual energy and can directly walk out. Of course, if you do not listen to my advice and absorb too much of the herb garden's spiritual energy, you will not be able to force it out of your body. Don't blame me if you cannot walk out. I'll trust you one more time. Lu Yuanzong did not say anything more. He was not too worried. He also had some trump cards that he could use, but he wasn't willing to use them. Furthermore, as long as he kept an eye on Xiao Chen, the other party would not be able to play any tricks. Please. Lu Yuanzong smiled playfully and gestured for Xiao Chen and the others to enter first. There's no need to worry. Let's go in. Xiao Chen's expression did not change. He placed his palm on the barrier and sent in a trace of the herb garden's aura through the barrier. Then he successfully entered. After stepping into the herb garden, Xiao Chen directly forced out the trace of the herb garden's aura from his body. Bush, bush, bush. People continuously entered the herb garden. Immediately, they were stunned by the dense spiritual energy and could not help wanting to absorb it. However, when they thought of Xiao Chen's warning, they swallowed their saliva and forced themselves to resist. Damn, this weed actually has spirituality. It is already comparable to a heaven-ranked herb. I wonder how much medicinal dregs are contained in this black soil. If we just casually dig up some, we will be able to grow herbs more efficiently in the future. I wonder if there is any way to refine medicinal energy from this black soil? That would be unrivaled. Just a bunch of useless people. Just casually grab a handful. Let's quickly go to the herb spring. Right. After entering the herb garden, everyone felt dizzy from excitement. Some people even ignored their image and dug up the rotten soil in the herb fields. They hoped that they would be able to dig out some intact medicinal herbs. Even if they could not, the value of the black soil would be very high. However, after being reminded, the crowd quickly executed their movement techniques and rushed to the herb spring in the center of the herb garden. Haha! Suddenly, someone laughed loudly. It was the gray-robed old man who did not get along with Xiao Chen. Before him was the tree that Xiao Chen had his eyes on. When the others saw it, they also laughed loudly. Only the trunk of that tree remained. It was riddled with holes and rotten beyond repair. There was no sign of life from it. It was clearly a worthless dead tree. Ha! Brat, your eyes are indeed unique. The gray-robed old man mocked as he looked at Xiao Chen. I was wondering what it was. After all this time, it turns out to be a rotten tree. No, we should thank this tree. If not for this tree, we would not have been able to enter the herb garden. The gray-robed old man jeered, eliciting laughter from the crowd. What are you saying? Bunch of bastards. If not for Xiao Chen, none of you would have been able to enter this herb garden. Murong Yen roared as he pushed away the people surrounding the tree. His voice was very loud, and it immediately silenced the others. But who would have thought that after this angry shout, the others would be stunned? However, who could have imagined that after this roar, the rotten, towering tree would crumble and turn into a small mound of ashes, completely crippled? The others were stunned for a moment before bursting into even louder laughter. Ha! This won't do. I'm having a stomachache from laughing. Let me take a break. This idiot, he's really stupid to the max. This is great. There is not even a single strand of hair left. Murong Yan's expression immediately turned extremely unsightly, feeling incredibly embarrassed. He had not expected such a situation. He turned his head and said, "Xiao Chen, what kind of eyes do you have? What tree did you choose?" Xiao Chen replied calmly, "I remember that your Red Dragon Palace should have one. However, it is normal that you do not recognize it. This tree is of a much higher grade than the one in your Red Dragon Palace." A coiling dragon tree? Murong Yan's expression suddenly changed. As he looked at the pile of ashes, he exclaimed, "Red Dragon True Flame." Murong Yan sent out a wave of dragon flames. As the dragon flames burned the ashes, they glistened and turned into strands of 7-colored dragon chi circling the dragon true flame. A 7-colored coiling dragon tree. It really is a 7-colored coiling dragon tree, a coiling dragon tree that can bear 7-colored coiling dragon fruits. As the ashes burned, a young sapling slowly appeared. Xiao Chen reacted quickly, grabbing the sapling and placing it in a brocade box to nourish it. Murong Yan's eyes popped out. It really is a 7-colored coiling dragon tree. The one in our Red Dragon Palace can only bear red coiling dragon fruits. Xiao Chen, if you offer this tree up, I wonder how the Dragon's Gate will reward you? It is simply unimaginable. Xiao Chen retorted indifferently, I have no intention of handing it up. A coiling dragon tree. It is actually a coiling dragon tree. The group of people who mocked Xiao Chen earlier were all stupefied. Unexpectedly, it was such a precious sapling. Hand over the coiling dragon tree. The gray-clad old man's group immediately could not take this lying down. They ferociously charged over and surrounded Xiao Chen and the others. Many other cultivators became restless, their eyes flickering with murderous intent. I gave you face, but you rejected it. Xiao Chen had already endured this old man for a long time. Now that this old man jumped out, he snorted coldly and directly attacked. Xiao Chen immediately threw a palm strike. Firmament's rage carried a colossal hand that held up the sky. Its fingers were like sabers flickering with electric light as it pressed down. What martial technique is this? This greatly startled the gray-clad old man. Horror flashed in his eyes as he watched the colossal hand pressing down from the sky. He retreated frantically. The others nearby hurriedly dodged, one after another. However, no matter where the gray-clad old man ran, he could not avoid the colossal hand that approached. The gray-clad old man fell heavily to the ground. When the hand vanished, his body was riddled with thousands of wounds, all of them flickering with electric light. The gray-clad old man was already half dead, completely losing his combat prowess. With one move, Xiao Chen defeated a peak holy venerate, completely shocking the others. The Dragon's Gate's secret technique, Firmament's Rage. I have not seen it for many years already. Unexpectedly, there is someone in the Divine Dragon Empire's younger generation who can reach the second layer. Are you interested in exploring this medicinal spring with me? It might have one of the 5 elemental energies you need, the heavenly spirit water. Shock flashed in the sovereign personage Lu Yuanzong's eyes as he looked at Xiao Chen. You're tuning in to the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.